We're working in an era where being your authentic self is what is going to push your brand or your product to the forefront. And if it means that, being like just being black and just being you, that's one of your USPs, because we are, like, black people we are commanding our space now. We are entering a time where, like, we're not even entering, we are in a time that we command our space, and we command to be seen and valued and be heard in spaces that before we would never be heard or seen, or want to be heard or seen. We'd be really pushed at the back. But now I'm like all for it. Push your food to the forefront, whatever you're doing, and command the space and time, and let people see the magic that we have, and use that magic to your advantage, and take the space and take it up, and take it up with your chest. Welcome to the third episode of Juice and the Sauce. Hope you guys had a good week. Good weekend. And I'm not gonna today, like, my energy levels are so, it's lower than they usually are. But yeah.
So
how are
good.
you? How are you, Lucinda?
I'm good. Is it first day of winter? Because the clocks went back, right?
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, the clocks. You know what? Maybe that's why I'm so lethargic. Like, maybe because I feel like I've got an extra hour to do anything. But I don't think it's actually made a difference in my life, like right now.
What did you do with your hour?
Well, I would, like what everybody else is going to do. I'm going to have an extra hour sleep. Actually, no. Today I actually went to church. I haven't been to church for a while, and a friend invited me to his church, which is down the road from my house. So I went with them, and it was a really nice service. Actually, I came out of it feeling much more positive. I don't think I've had a really positive week. I think I've been feeling just a bit. I've had the imposter syndrome.
Okay, why?
Sometimes you're doing something and you feel like, am I actually good? Sometimes I ask myself, am I actually good at what I do? And then I just sit there, and I think sometimes it's to do with social media. Like, when I scroll through people's pages, sometimes I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm as good as what I think I am. But then again, I'm like, but I'm here though. Then I'm like, I look at my work and, but Natasha, you are. And then it's like, you know what it is because I think part of it is because I've never had any formal training in what I do. So everything I do is very experimental. And if it works, it works. It doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And I kind of go back to the drawing board. And then another part of it is kind of like, am I still trying to see, I still feel like I'm trying to seek validation in the world of cake.
From
the people in the cake world. I still feel like that. And it's just really weird that I still feel like I need validation. And I think that's the kind of week I've had. And that's me being very, very honest and being very candid. Like, sometimes I do feel like I'm still trying to seek this validation. But then again, I turn over and be like, I don't need validation from anyone, because I've got here off my sheer... I've just got where I am off sheer just my own talent, my own mindset, my own creativity, that it's a bit different. And I actually had a discussion with my mentor. Okay. Which not many people know this, but by the time this airs, you will know. So my mentor is a lady called Jojo, who I met earlier on this year, when a lot of things in my life was changing and I wasn't sure if I was making the right decisions. And it's funny because she was basically having my background of art, fashion, and all those crafts. One of the things that I did really want to get back into is doing a little bit of craft. And a lot of people have been asking me, teach. And the reality is, like, teaching, I just do a lot of things just wildly, and me wanting to go into teaching, I really wanted the experience of hosting lessons for whether it's 8 people, 10 people, and I really wanted to make sure that there was a structure to it, and also have my confidence up, because I had this email from this one person one time, and it was about an episode of the show that one of my cakes it didn't stand for as long as I anticipated it to, and there was a lot of errors that that happened that day,
Mm-hmm.
like just the journey in itself, like the cake got slightly damaged and it kind of basically, you know where I'm going with this anyway. And it was a cake that was at the tape, but the beautiful thing is people didn't really know what it's supposed to look like, and people still loved it for what it was, and it tasted amazing and everybody really loved it. And I think she slyly said, because she was like, oh, she'd love to come and have lessons from me. Then she watched that episode and then she emailed back and she's like, yeah, I don't think you should be teaching because you just made that error and blah blah blah. And I was a bit like, oh yeah, like these things can happen to the most professional people. Like it's not just like, it's, you know, it doesn't mean because you're a professional, like accidents don't happen to you. And I think that's what sometimes I feel like when people see me and they're just like, okay, you're on a show, you're a professional, you shouldn't be having these minor accidents, but these things still happen in my life sometimes. And that's where I feel like I've got imposter syndrome. But anyway, back to Jojo. And so she set up this company. Her company's called Cookcraft Creative. Okay. And I'm actually one of the teachers on there. So I'll actually be teaching. I joined her and she's been mentoring me and really just teaching me about how to construct lessons and how to get the best out of me to give to my students. And she's taught me a lot. She's been helping me refine my cake, my French macarons, my meringues, and just other little bits. And she's been a great mentor to me in terms of just, you know, she like this week she was saying to me like, Natasha, you are cut above the rest, like, and you need to start believing that. And I can sense that sometimes you don't believe that of yourself. Like you've had, you may have had like 1-2 accidents and you feel like, oh, okay, I'm not as good as you are cut above the rest. And accidents happen to the most greatest people, you know, like all of, you know, your confidence, don't let people knock your confidence, or, you know, you deserve to be, you're at the top of the game with all of the people, you know, all the luxury cake makers. People can't do what you do. Even I can't do what you do. And it was very, very lovely to hear her say that. And it's just one of the things that I feel like that's why I've had like serious imposter syndrome this week. But I think after having that discussion with her, I'm just coming out of it and just being like, yeah, you know what, you are the shit, innit? Sometimes it happens, innit? Like even the best people. And it's funny because I watched randomly, I came across this film called Greater, and it was like about this guy who he was never built to play for the NFL, but he persevered. He made the changes. He asked every coach, what do I need to do to play in the NFL? And he became like on the brink of him going to play in the NFL after everybody in his life telling him that you'd never make it. He made it through the grace of God and just having faith within himself. And unfortunately, he had an accident which killed him before he got to... Yeah, he was...
It's a true story.
It's a true story. Okay. What's his name? His first name is Brandon. I can't remember his last name. I can just like see it, but I can't. But his name is Brandon. And then the film is on actually Amazon. It's called Greater. And on the brink of him signing a contract. And the way it works in America, he basically was a walk-in to a college, and usually the walk-ins don't really get to, they're basically with a college for a year, and if you don't improve, basically you're cut. If you improve, you get the scholarship. So he improved that much within the year that he managed to get a scholarship to college, and then from college he went into the NFL draft, and he was picked by I forgot, but it's blue anyway. I can't even remember, but the shirt was blue. And he had, on his way to see his mum, to go take her to church and have dinner with her, being that was his last weekend with her, he had an accident with a truck, and unfortunately he didn't get to play for NFL. But just that kind of faith in yourself, like being told no your whole life, and then him just taking those no's and turning it into his yeses and being very, very consistent, he achieved his goal. So it gave me that kind of feeling that, you know what, sometimes like, you know, you don't have to be told no, but you can turn your no's into a yeses, and it's all a mental game. And so I'm not an imposter. I'm out here doing it, but it's having that faith and really just striving. Like, you have to go and knock on those doors, because if you're not knocking on them, you can't expect somebody else to go knock on the doors for you and then you walk in. So I think, like, yeah, for me, I know a lot of people may see me or whatever on Instagram. It's like, even today, someone stopped me on the bus and like we were having a conversation and stuff, and think, oh my God, this girl is just amazing, amazing, amazing. Not knowing that I also suffer from like imposter syndrome. I have those weeks where I just feel like, I feel like really shitty about myself. But yeah, that's been my week in long, short term.
There is a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
I was about to dig you out for this whole imposter thing. But
I know. I could see your face, and I was just like, I could see your face. You were just like, what? Like Nastasha?
Because, like, number one, like, your cakes are sick. Like, they're absolutely amazing. Like, there's only 2 people that really, really make cakes that I really, really like, and you're one of them. So, like, yeah, the cakes are just... But you already know this.
No, but the thing is, like, just because I know this, it doesn't mean, like, somebody said to me today, I met somebody today, and she was like, I'm like one of your biggest fans, and I was talking to her, and she said to me, you're so humble. She didn't imagine me. She already had, like, everybody has a preconceived idea of how some, like, their favorite person or their icon's gonna act, or whoever you really like in life. And she was like, one thing that's just amazed me is like, you're just really humble. Like, and I was like, well, I don't know how else to be. This is just me. Like, I suppose, like, for me, like, where I've come from and where I'm like headed, I don't feel the need to, I don't know. Yeah, I will tell you, like, I know I'm the shit. Like, I tell you I'm the shit. But, like, sometimes I say that I'm like, I'm the shit. But I don't know. Am I an imposter? And I think it's just something that's just been going on in my head. And obviously, like, sometimes when some things play out in your head, they can actually then present themselves as the truth. But it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't need them to present themselves as the truth. Like, everybody has bad days, everybody has good days. It doesn't, you know, just because, I even think of it like this, like the greatest runner, Usain Bolt, we thought, like, there was one time he did a false start, and everybody's like, no, why did he do a false start? Like, he shouldn't, because he's like the greatest runner. It happens to everyone. Everybody has their bad days. And it's like in this film, it said, it's not about it's not about just staying down, it's how you pick yourself up and get on with it. That shows who you are. But if you stay down, it's like you're actually saying to the world, yeah, I'm gonna stay down. But yeah. But thank you, Lucinda.
So what I was saying though,
Yeah,
right, is that I was gonna dig you out, but I'm not going as hard as I was going to, only because as you started talking, I started to think about, like, how do I relate? And sometimes, even just recently, somebody was speaking to me about, like, how I should do some form of, like, consultancy and XYZ. And then I rarely give advice. I don't like giving advice. Only because I feel that, like, for me to give advice, I need to show almost like, like saying, oh, what have you done for me? Not what have you done for me lately. Like, what have you done today? Whatever you did yesterday is irrelevant. It's about what you're doing right now, what you're going to be doing forward. So, yeah, for me to, like, be even talking about business and giving advice, although, I've had my own stuff, like, so on this week I am now free. I've left work, you know.
Please tell us, like.
So I left work on Wednesday.
Yay!
That was my last day. I'm out of there. So now I'm free to just go and do whatever I want to do. I guess, grateful for, job and stuff, but I felt like my wings are clipped. When you've had your own thing, you're doing your own thing, just working for someone, you're constrained, right? So, I guess full disclosure, I will be getting a part-time job. It should have started right now, but it hasn't. But at least the food thing is going to be my main thing. But, like, when someone's speaking to me about, like, advice and I feel like I don't have a business right now. I'm a director of this, or got plans of that, but, like, that's why I hate giving advice, even though I've done it. So I feel that kind of imposter syndrome kind of thing. I can kind of relate to that. And then you obviously sometimes they say you shouldn't need someone else's approval, not approval,
Yeah.
just someone else to validation.
Yeah.
But it has an effect. You know, if somebody says, "Oh, well done," or like what you're doing is good, or they see value in what they did, it makes you wake up and be like, "Oh, it's actually something." You know, so that's what's been buzzing from my head, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So I think we should dive into the menu of the show.
Yeah. So what's for starters like this week's starters are just like I don't know if I have like even if I wanted to say I don't know if I have care for them this week, but you know, like starters is one of those things. Like, yeah, to be honest, if I was in a restaurant, starters is just starters, isn't it? But okay, so this week's starters, like, we're gonna dive into some random things that have been happening in the food industry or just food round. The story that I'm going to talk about, I know I shouldn't find this hilarious, but it's kind of just like, what? Like, so anyway, let me dig into the story. So it happened in Australia. So Domino's Australia, Domino's has a vegan menu, and basically a guy ordered a vegan ham pizza, and then when it arrived, what happened was he took a bite out of it, and for him it didn't taste like vegan ham. I don't know what vegan ham tastes like anyway. And and he felt like it wasn't vegan ham, right? So he calls Domino's and says, "Yo, Domino's, like, the pizza I just ordered a vegan ham pizza, but it don't taste like vegan ham. It tastes like real pork, like wagwan." And then I'm just narrating the story in my own terms, yeah, because when I read it I was just like, oh god. Like, and then the guys at Domino's was like, nah fam, if for real we sprinkled that like vegan ham on top, like it's vegan for sure, munch it down, enjoy. The guy was like, okay, cool. And then he continued eating it, and it was like, nah, this is tasting a bit porky for me. Like, called Domino's and said, yo, for real, but is this like vegan ham? So anyway, he then actually called head office, I think he did. And no, he wrote a Facebook post because he didn't believe that this was vegan ham. And so what he then did to really want to rectify what he wanted to do was prove that it really wasn't vegan ham. He was eating real pork. Now, he went on the Domino's website and compared pictures. I know I shouldn't be laughing, but it's just like, what? Like, okay, so he then goes onto the website. Let me start again. He goes onto the website, Domino's website, and looks for the picture of the vegan ham pizza, looks at his pizza. He's like, the vegan ham does not, like, his one is brighter and more pinky than the one like in the online in the picture. And then he does this whole post on Facebook telling Domino's that, yo, this is you've given me I don't think you've given me the vegan ham. And then he said he then anyway munches all of the pizza, and then he really realized that it wasn't pork because he got that it was actually pork.
Yeah, because you got the stomach ache.
Then he said he got stomach cramps. Now, let me tell you, I mean, I don't complain about food. I wouldn't say I'm top complainer about food, but when I don't think something is something, or when I taste something and I feel like, like this tastes a bit like pork. Okay, good example would be, right, let me start this again. So I don't eat pork personally. I haven't eaten pork. I used to eat pork, but I haven't touched pork physically. But, you know, I eat Haribo, so I know that there's a chunk of gelatin. But physically, to go out there and say, I want pork on my pizza. No, I haven't done that in probably about 20 years or more.
Really? 20 years? Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to give away my age, but like I gave up pork when I was like in secondary school. I think it was like more like when I was like 13, 14.
So
like,
is that like a religious thing or?
So I just come out like if I eat a lot of pork or when I eat pork, I come out with this like really dusty rash.
Okay.
And it's actually something in my family. Like there's people in my family that eat pork. That's up to them. It's not by force. Like in my family, it's not by force. I just opted not to eat it because I always came out with this scaly rash, and I was just like, you know what? I love my skin too much for me to be eating pork, and we just got to drop it in it. And I remember when I went to McDonald's and I got a wrap, and I got one of their wraps, and it happened to be, it was wrap of the day, and I didn't realize it was a chicken barbecue. No, I did realize it was a chicken barbecue, and I asked them, can I take out, I asked them, sorry, random pauses. I asked them if they could take out the pork, and they were like, yeah, cool. And when I got my wrap, I was munching into it. I was enjoying the top part, and I got like 3/4 of the way down, and I bit it, and I was like, oh, that tastes a bit like smoky. And I was like, hold up. And I opened it, and I saw that they had put one rasher in there. And I was just like, okay, cool. And then I thought, is it turkey? Nah, it's not turkey bacon. Like, fam, it's full on bacon. I just threw away the wrap in it because I'd left McDonald's, and I was like, done. It kind of ruined my dinner. I was just like, I just got fries, innit? But my thing is, you're calling Domino's, and you know that this doesn't taste nice, right? Or it tastes like pork, and you don't eat pork. I don't know. Maybe I haven't tasted vegan pork because still that concept of vegan pork just literally blows my mind still. But if you could taste and know that it within your senses that this is important, why would you just say to Domino's, okay, you guys fucked up my order, I don't want to eat it because I don't trust what you're saying, can you send me a margarita, can you send me a vegan margarita? Why go ahead and eat them whole, munch the thing?
So the thing for him though is he questioned them. He
did question them, but you ate the whole thing.
But they told him it was cool.
No, but in his heart of hearts, he said it he felt like it wasn't. Like, he kept calling because, okay, if I call once,
okay,
then I'm reassured and I eat and I'm like, yeah, okay, it's cool. But if there's still something, if I'm still bugging out after a couple of phone calls, like, yo, just send, I'm just like, you know what? I don't even trust it. But I'm of the opinion anyway that if I buy something and I don't trust it, I'm asking for another one. But only because I feel like, yo, you guys, I haven't seen you make it in it, so I'm going to be bugging out. So just send me one without that.
All right, cool. But let's say you have been eating from a restaurant for a number of years, like you trust them. And then, I don't know, let's say it was like a smoothie or something you order. You say to them, oh, is this fresh? Was this made today? If they tell you, yeah, like you're going to trust them, no?
No. Okay. I had a jollof incident a little while ago. Let me tell you, like I bought jollof from Deliveroo. And then when the jollof came, I told you, for me, it tasted like yesterday. It didn't taste like jollof that was cooked fresh on the day. Yeah. I called the restaurant. I said, uncle, like, yo, your jollof tastes like it was made yesterday. He pleaded with me and said, yo, it was made fresh today. I took a bite out of it. I was like, no, this is yesterday's jollof, to the side. And he refunded me my money.
So, okay, cool though. But that was like a brand new restaurant.
No, it's not a brand new restaurant.
Oh, you've been going there before?
It's the first restaurant I've tried. Yes.
That's what I mean. So if you've been going to a place where's your favorite place?
I like everything. So I don't really have I can't choose about a favorite thing. All right.
Natas, right?
Okay. The Nata place. All right. Cool. We'll use like that.
So if the Nata place, you asking them, okay, is this Nata fresh? Was it made today? And they tell you, yeah, like, cool. He obviously thought something was wrong, so he questioned it. But if they tell him, hey, no, it is cool. Like,
I mean, I don't dispute that, but my man gobbled it down though. Like, yo, if it tasted like pork, it is pork, innit? But like I said, to be honest, I have a very biased opinion because, like, you can't really trust what I say right now because I've never tasted like vegan pork, and vegan pork may have like the smoky taste of pork, but not pork. Do you get what I mean?
But dude was confused because he said he hadn't had pork in like 4 years.
So you know, like, for me, protect yourself, innit? My thing is protect yourself. You already taste it. You feel it's funky. Don't eat it. Just ask for another one, but without the foot. But what it was that you were really enjoying the taste. Let's not lie to ourselves. He kind of liked it. No, I'm joking. I don't think he liked it. I just think I'm just making up stories. It was just like one of the weird ones that I picked out today. I was just like, like, okay, but why wouldn't you just ask Domino's for another pizza, but without the pork, like vegan pork?
You know, even on top of that though, like the damage is kind of done once you had one bite. Like as an extreme vegan, not even extreme, just as a vegan, having had that,
this is what I mean. He gobbled it all down, but he knew instinctively he knew that this wasn't right.
But what you meant to kind of do, like
pick out at least say,
pick out the pork.
Yeah, I would have picked out okay, for me, yeah, if I taste something's not instinctively right, I'm picking out what I feel like is not instinctively right, or I'm calling the restaurant and telling them, yo, you better send me something fresh, like, yo, this is not gonna fly tonight.
Okay, cool.
But that's how I cope with things. And
so talking about picking out the pork, right, I think that leads nicely onto speaking about the Impossible Burger, right?
Yeah.
At Burger King. Because the Impossible Burger, I guess for those that don't know, it's basically a plant-based burger, no meat in there.
Yeah.
But it's meant to taste like meat.
Yeah.
I've not had it. Have you tasted it?
I've tasted Impossible Meat.
Oh, okay. Where'd you have that?
Okay, so I was in Canada earlier on this year, and my brother had been to Canada as well. Me and my brother went, and another friend of ours. And we, my brother, when he first went to Canada, he was telling me about the Impossible Meats. He was just like, vegan in this country sucks. But those were not my words. Vegan meats. And he was like, yeah, but like there's this place called Tim Hortons, and they do this Impossible Burger, like breakfast burger. And he was like, yeah, it's actually kind of dope still. And so when we were over there, I tried the Impossible Burger or Impossible Breakfast, whatever it was.
Could you tell the difference? Wait, the fact that you have to pause means that it was very, very close.
It was very, very close. I would say the only thing that throws you off, in my personal opinion, that like Impossible Meats are like overly salty. So that was like, it was very well seasoned. Like one of the things is like, my brother doesn't have fat boy palate, so I trust his judgment on food like top sinner. So he was just like, the Impossible Burger, it was the first vegan burger that he tasted which had seasoning, and literally was just like, yo, and he even said it's a bit salty, but they got the seasoning down to a T. And when I was in Canada, I think I had this burger like 3 times in a row. Not like consistently, like back
so
and
you
forth.
enjoyed it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really nice, I thought it was a really nice thing. But I mean, I'm very kind of like, as much as I'm one of those people, like I said, you can partially take what I say with a pinch of salt, but I'm one of those people who I think there is I have a fascination with like Impossible Meat, so I'll try it out of like sheer fascination. But do I think they are good for you going forward? No.
See, that's the bit I'm a bit weary of. Like, I like the idea. Like, yeah. The only thing with like me and being like vegan, I'm not brave enough to do it. I like the whole concept. I like what it means and stands for. Like, I love animals and things, but like I'm not there yet. I'll be honest, I'm not brave enough to make the step. But the whole Impossible Burger thing, it makes me think like, what's in it? Okay,
so they say plant-based. So I didn't read the ingredients, I'm not going to lie. This is just me being very skeptical. I think it's made from more soy plant. Like soy plant. But there have been studies that show that eating a lot of soy is not good for you, like especially in women. Apparently it can cause infertility, so I do try and avoid as much soy products as I can. I mean, I'm not a big soy milk drinker, or like I don't, I will eat I've tried tofu. I'm not gonna lie, I like a little bit of tofu, but I'm not trying to munch it down it's like once probably a year that I actually touch tofu.
I think I tried it once. It's very plain. No?
It needs a lot of seasoning. Like the people who know how to season, if you've had good seasoned tofu, that people who know how to cook it properly, it can bang. But with the Impossible Meats, it's very close. I'm not gonna lie, it acts like meat, it tears like meat. It's worrying that it is that close to meat, but it was good. Like, I mean, I would say I'm not sure if I'm trying to buy a Whopper, an Impossible Whopper. Like, if I'm being honest, yeah, I'm gonna eat a beef Whopper. Like, I ain't even gonna try. Like, I'm not trying to have something that mimics meat, because I think that whole concept, thinking about that in my head and just trying to get around something that mimics meat is. Just eat the meat, babes. I'm just like, eat the meats, but I understand that people eat. Want alternatives to eating meat for their own reasons. So I'm not mad at it.
But don't you get those days when you want something hearty, meaty, but you don't want the meat?
No.
You don't get them days?
No, it's vegetables, babes. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. There's nothing, like, for me, if you're going to eat meat, I'm a meat eater. Like, I don't eat chicken every single day. I don't think I gobble meat. Like, growing up, I probably ate chicken every single day, because it was like staple, like rice and chicken in my house, or rice and beef, or but as I've grown older, like I'll have chicken probably like twice a week, if that. I mostly have a lot of fish. Beef, if I'm being honest, beef in this country doesn't bang. I like as much as beef from SA, like from where I'm from, Zimbabwe, SA. I like it like that. And if I'm being real deep about it, we go to an SA butcher, which is like in Essex somewhere. That's when I eat beef. Like, when I have beef, I get it from the SA butcher, the South African butcher. That's based in, I think it's somewhere in East, East, like. Me buying beef from supermarket or from the butcher, that don't fly for me. Like, I have to have, like, I don't know, my palate is well acquainted to that kind of thing. But in saying that, I'll go to a restaurant and have a good steak,
So, like, I can never cook a steak, right? So, yeah, because I like it medium. Yeah. I like to see a bit of blood, but I can't cook it properly. So I rarely buy beef. But on that whole thing about, like, eating too much meat, or like feeling like you've had too much, I guess my supplement then is fish. Like, a lot of like,
so cod, I eat a lot of
bass, haddock, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I never have those days where, like you're saying, like you want something big and hearty, but you want something meaty, but you don't want it meaty. Now, fam, I'm gonna dip and dive in that chicken. I'm gonna dip and dive in that burger. There's nothing better than just going.
You never feel bloated from eating meat.
I don't eat that much meat, like, on a weekly basis for me to feel. I feel bloated after I've had loads of bread.
So, okay, cool. Like, so in like a week, how many times would you eat meat?
Probably about 3 times.
Oh, okay. Because I guess I'm a carnivore here. I'm doing like,
I just don't. I suppose because my diet is kind of like, I eat much more vegetables.
Sure.
So I'll have like loads of vegetable, like I'll have a stir fry with like loads of vegetables, or if I want meat on the side, I'll have like a piece of mackerel, or I'll have some salmon, or I just don't even really bother, or sometimes I just have veggie sausages. Like, that's all right.
Is Linda McCartney, is she even around anymore?
No, Linda McCartney died sadly.
Condolences. Are you being serious?
Yeah, she died ages ago.
I didn't know. Sorry, my condolences. Sorry. I didn't know
I'm laughing I didn't know if
okay.
Like, I'm laughing at your reaction. Like Linda McCartney died.
No, I didn't know if you meant it like the food's dead.
Or, no, not the food's dead. Like, she passed away quite a while ago.
My condolences.
And she has, in saying that, her range of vegan, I was about to say vegan vegetarian food is really, really, really good. Okay. Like, Linda McCartney sausages are they actually bang. Like, like they actually bang. And what else bangs? The quarter pounder mozzarella burger.
So British.
That's quarter pounder, oi, from the southeast end, innit? Quarter pounder burger, that one bangs. I haven't had her country pies and her vegetable lattice. Is that
the thing where it's like on top? Okay, cool.
The platted like pastry, but this actually leads into something else that bangs, and that's vegetarian vegan. Yeah, like, I'm not even gonna lie. Have you tasted the Greg's sausage rolls? The vegan,
Greg's?
the vegan Greg sausage roll. Okay, they look like cardboard. I'm not even lying. They look like like some little shitty pieces of cardboard just waiting to be bought, like begging to be bought. So one day, like in my head, obviously, sometimes I do miss a sausage roll, but I'm not even trying to do the pork thing. That's haram. Like we ain't going there. We're not stepping there, fam. We just want a sausage roll, innit? And so where I get sausage rolls from is Holland and Barrett's have this. They've got a vegan range, and they're South Africa. It's like a South African kind of family thing, and they have like mini sausage rolls. Like they bang. My mum introduced me into those. Actually, my mum's a pescatarian, so she'll dig all of that fake meat stuff. But sometimes, what did she try the other day? She tried the chicken pieces. She was like, "No, that's too close to chicken. I feel like I'm eating
what?
Chicken pieces."
What's
they
that?
have like these fake chicken pieces, and she stir fried it. She was like, "No, fam, that's too close to chicken for me." She actually thought she was eating chicken, so she was like, "No, she don't know if she can stomach that." And then she was like, "I don't think this is healthy for us anyway." But I really wanted a sausage roll, and I thought, let me try these Greg sausage rolls and these vegan sausage rolls. Let me see Wagwan, because there was a whole kind of hype, like there was like a really weird hype around them. I tried them and I was like, "Oi, they actually kind of bang."
Okay.
They're very well seasoned. They're they're a bit salty. I'm not gonna lie, but what isn't salty in Greg's? Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, Greg's need to like cut the salt in every, like, especially in their steak bakes and chicken bakes. Yo, that looks like you seem like you're eating a pot of salt. Like, but I just about get through it anyway. But that sausage roll, if you want to taste something that's as close to impossible meat as possible, it would be Greg's sausage rolls.
I now have to try it, because for me, everything in
the vegan sausage rolls, not the pork ones, the vegan ones.
Okay, cool. Because for me, everything in Greg's is very bland, neutral. But I get they have to, because that's the market there. I'm not gonna
lie. Yes, everything in Greg's is just like purely basic. But what I'm saying is like, it's basic enough, but they actually put a little bit more than just salt and pepper this time.
I see what Salt Bay there.
Yeah, they put a little bit more than just salt and pepper.
Okay.
You know, but this is where my brother would be like, "You've got fat boy palate. That shit tastes nasty."
Oh,
but
you don't like it?
I don't know. I haven't even asked him. I don't think he's munched it. It's alright. It's not to sing home about. Like, it's just if you don't want to spend like £8 on an Impossible Whopper, and you want to just get the feeling of what an Impossible meat tastes like. I mean, I would say it's £1. It's not breaking the bank, is it? Like, it's probably £1 not well spent. But I mean, when I posted it on my Instagrams, people were like, yeah, like they actually do bang. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they look like cardboard. But funny enough, when you go into Greg's, they're the ones that are always sold out.
Okay. So, on just what you're saying about Greg's, right?
Yeah.
I just want to read something from this Burger King website when they talk about the Whopper. It basically says, in small print next to a picture of the burger, it says, "For guests looking for a meat-free option, a non-broiler method of preparation is available upon request."
Go on.
So my understanding, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, is the way that they're preparing this isn't necessarily separated.
Nah, it's still on the meat. It's still on the meat griddle. Like, okay, one thing that people have got to realize is when McDonald's or like any of these massive like food corporations introduced a vegan, like a vegetarian option or a vegan option, understand everything's cooked on the same grill. Ain't nobody doing a separate grill like you're doing at home. Like, this pot is just for vegetables. This pot is just for meat. No, they're not doing that. Everything is cooked on the same griddle. For them, it just means like the meat that they're cooking is
Impossible.
Is vegan.
Okay,
it doesn't mean for them the actual meat is not vegan, but where they've cooked it is in the same place as they would cook every other thing. I think, it was Burger King. We spoke about this on a personal level of like Burger King not even considering having separate grills for just vegan stuff. So yes, please be mindful for the vegan people that are going to go chomp that down. If you're a very strict vegan, please note that there is that small print there.
Sure. So like that just made me think about even what you were just thinking about. Greg's just like, okay, how are they preparing this? Are they using?
Yeah, I know sometimes it smells like pork. It's been in the same oven as pork. I'm just eating it with my eyes closed. Like I said, I eat Haribo's, innit? There is a halal version of Haribo's that's made
really?
with like beef gelatin. But I mean, even like there was the Marks and Spencer's diabolical debate where now Percy Pigs, like, let me tell you, Percy Pigs freaking bang. Like, Percy Pigs, they've made them all out of like beef gelatin or vegetarian gelatin, like, because they've got vegan, they've got veggie.
Vegetarian gelatin now.
Yeah, they've always been vegetarian gelatin.
Okay.
Yeah, there's always been vegetarian. It's called
It's
called Veggie but it just doesn't work as well as
Veggie That sounds so wrong.
It doesn't work as well as normal gelatin.
Okay.
But you can get beef gelatin.
Sure.
Gelatin is just like the fat in like the fat within the animal, basically, that sticks shit together. That helps stick shit together. It's jelly, basically. So Marks and Spencer's had this whole thing where they've now made all of their Percy Pigs suitable for vegetarians. It's all veggie. They're all veggie, and everybody was like, "Oh, why are we doing that? It's not going to taste as good." Fam, they're just a bit chewier. That's it. I buy the veggie, like, I buy veggie Percy Pigs. Like, when I was naughty, like, me not eating pork, sometimes I want a Percy Pig in it.
So you can have the real pork. So you can have the veggie
sometimes
pork.
before they introduced that one, you just eat with your. Even me and my sister was just like, yeah, we've been naughty eating Percy Pigs, and sometimes. Sometimes we just want, but that's why I said there's a lot of products out there that I know personally that contain pork, but I do try and steer away from them. But yeah, I mean, just be mindful of that, because not every restaurant takes consideration into that. It's like, I remember I was in this French restaurant, and I ordered like a chicken dish, and then the waiter said, "Do you have any food allergies or any food regulations?" I said to him, "I just don't eat pork." So I literally had to chop, because everything on this basically everything on this menu had a bit of pork flavoring. It either had like bacon pieces in it or just like cooked in some broth or something like that. And I was just like, and I really wanted chicken that day. So I got the chicken that said it had, on the menu, it said it was just chicken, no pork, whatever. So I ordered that. So and I love this waiter for actually doing this as well. So I've ordered my food. We're there drinking wine, having a laugh, blah, blah, blah. The waiter comes running back and he was like, "I'm so sorry, madame. What you've ordered actually it's actually cooked in pork stock. The chicken's cooked in pork stock. So you cannot have that. I was just wondering, I don't want you to have an allergic reaction." And I was like, "Oh, it's not actually, I don't have I obviously have like a rash that comes out like if I eat loads of it, but it's not like I'm not hypersensitive, hypersensitive, because my mum's always told me this as well." And he was like, "Oh, do you want to choose something?" I ended up having to have fish, and taking like another half an hour just to choose something of fish. And he said, "I'm going to make sure that this doesn't contain pork, and if it does, I'll make sure that they cook it in another pan." My mum has always said this, and this is why, as much as my mum likes going to eat in restaurants, especially for her birthday, when we want to take her out, she's very against it, because she's a very stern, strict pescatarian. And she even said, and especially her being a food scientist and working in the food industry, most of the time these kitchens do not make allowances of like cooking fish and chicken in different pots. They usually use the same pot to cook pork, fish and chicken and all of that. And that's why she doesn't like, because she's got very sensitive, her senses are very sensitive. And she's always said to me, like, most of the time, you see, when you like your chicken so much, they've cooked it in pork stock, because pork make everything taste nice. And I'm like, "Thanks, Mum." And she's like, "Well, it's not your fault, innit? Like, you don't purposely go out looking for it." So yeah, it's just one of those things to be very mindful of. Even though there's all of these restaurants are being all vegan friendly, but are they actually being vegan? Are they actually taking the consideration to have separate pans for vegans and stuff. I know some restaurants do, but not all of them do.
Just as you were speaking about like bacon, it actually reminded me of I don't know if it's still there, but All Star Lanes had this milkshake with like bacon in it, and it was really, really nice. It was just
pork makes everything taste nice. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah, but just on what you were speaking, so I don't remember the name of it. I was just reading about it yesterday, but there's a lot of like these, what do you call it, Impossible Burgers, or only restaurants opening up.
Yeah.
In the States, not here in London town. Well, maybe there is. I just haven't heard of them.
Yeah.
But that is, I guess, options for, I guess, our vegan listeners who are worried about cross-contamination and things like that, because of, I know if I was vegan, I'd be pissed. You know,
I know.
If you want a particular way of life, or if you have, have certain religious beliefs, and if you're paying for a service and someone's not, marrying with that, like.
Yeah, I mean, especially for like Burger King to put that disclaimer up, and something in that article that we were reading, someone said it's not actually designed to attract strict vegans. It's more for people, I would say like me, like fanatics of like all like Impossible Meats, and like it's more geared towards people who are like, they still kind of want the option of eating something meaty, like you were saying, but not actually eating meat. So it's more geared towards them. But like the disclaimer says, if you are a strict vegan and you want to make sure that there's no meat traces in that whatsoever, tell them at the counter so they can put it on a broiler?
I think
tell them to put it on a separate broiler for you, because you just may be eating a bit of traces of meat.
Next, I want to talk about man like Elvin Mensah.
Yeah.
So
he's funny.
If you haven't seen the Instagram videos, go over to his Instagram page, which is at Elvin Mensah, ELVINMENSAH. So basically, just to set up, the guy goes onto a train. He whips out like a picnic table. He'd be sitting next to a nice young lady, puts a table out, blanket. He'll have like he'll whip out like a bottle of something, whether it's like, I don't know,
white wine, red wine, drink, whatever.
He'll bring out the plate. He basically brings out a whole meal.
He's like your perfect dinner date, like basically
on the train.
Yeah,
like rush hour, people are watching. Obviously, they're giggling, laughing, and then the girl obviously has a decision to make. Does she drink some? Does she sip some of that juice? She's sipping that juice, or is she just gonna look at him and be like, "Boy, you playing yourself," and walk away? He's absolutely. Lissimba actually introduced me to him. He sent me a snapshot, and I just thought it was hilarious. It is like
I'm yet to meet this person on a train.
Well, he's he's doing these videos regularly.
To be honest, I don't even get on the tube that much, like as much as I used to even like literally bump into him. But it's like it's the most hilarious concept, and we have to give like Elvin a shout out, because 100%. Stuff like that makes the day go by just a little bit sweet, and it's just hilarious that that kind of a concept, like well, I'd actually love to get him on the show, actually.
Yeah, maybe we should show him.
And just ask him about like how that came about, and the fact that there was a video. There's one that he did where he actually gets somebody to be his waiter and brings a food.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
You sent that one to me.
Oh, is that the one? Oh, okay. Like I didn't finish it.
His friend gets his friend. I think it's his friend. And basically, he rings the bell, and his friend comes through the carriage with like with food. Like, it's actually hilarious. It's freaking funny.
I must have stopped halfway and missed that bit then. Yeah. But he is mad funny. What I wanted to ask you though.
Yeah.
If he was there, or if anybody else did it, what kind of meal should they bring?
Yeah, like I said, I care nothing for starters. I care nothing for mains. Yeah. If you bring me a dessert, if you bring me a cheesecake.
A cake?
Cheesecake, not just a cake. Like, because but remember, like my thing is, I bake cake, so I eat my own cake a lot. Yeah, I actually forgot. I had some salted caramel cake for you at home, and I literally forgot to bring it. Like, honestly,
you can't tell me that. You should have just not told me.
But this salted caramel cake bangs because I've been having it like before bedtime with a gin and tea, and I've been just
made this? Did you make it? Or you
of course I made it.
Okay,
like,
I don't know.
Why am I buying salted caramel cake?
Okay, so the cheesecake.
Okay, so if this Elvin Mensah thing was to happen in front, boy, you got to bring me a cheesecake. Like, I'm telling you, cheesecake and New York, and I'm not going to get fanciful with the flavors, because I think, like, when it comes to the fanciful flavors, like, my all-time favorite cheesecake, but it's because I make it myself, is actually an apple cinnamon one with the crumble on top. But let me tell you, let me snatch my heart back right about now. But a great New York cheesecake, and you don't find many great New York cheesecakes in London, but a great New York cheesecake made with vanilla bean and a nice white wine, crisp. You've caught my heart.
I love cheesecake, by the way. Absolutely love cheesecake.
It. Like, you've caught my heart. Or you know what I would like? A cheese board. A fucking fancy cheese board with gorgonzola cheese, with a blue cheese.
Blue cheese,
with
okay.
Is it Manchego cheese?
Sheep's milk cheese.
And with quince.
Oh, you know about...
Don't test me on my quince. Like, let me tell you, let me get my bougie self out with my quince. Yeah. And a nice balsamic vinegar and some nice sourdough bread. You cannot contest. And a red wine. Yo, Christmas at my house is going to be popping, because that's what the kind of shit we're doing. Like, my mum love my family like a great cheese board. And to finish that off, a rich chocolate cake.
So
this is why I'm big, and this is why losing weight is an issue.
The only reason I know about quince, right, is because I worked in a deli, right? But I swear to you, I've never met anybody that knows what like quince is and like manchego, that thing. Have that together.
So manchego, quince, and a digestive biscuit. You know about that combo, right?
So I've had it with a cracker, not with like a digestive.
So with a cracker is also nice, but with a nice digestive. The digestive biscuit is because it's sweet in it, because like I like sweet things in it. Anything that's sweet, yo, boy, you've caught my heart. Not anything actually, but I'm just saying. Like, so a gooseberry quince. Yeah. I can be a very bougie woman, like, you know, and even when I talk about cheese boards, people are like, Nastasia, who are you? And I'm like, who are you not to have a cheese board? Like, what? Especially with a good Stilton.
You know what cheese is really nice?
Yeah.
Stinking toe. Is it stinking toe? You know what? I'm gonna have to Google this now.
Okay. I also like a really great brie. I like a brie as well. So, you know, like, yes, I can be hella posh, but, you know, those are kind of like, I love cheesecake and a good, so those two things, if someone was to bring those in front of me, boy, I don't know what kind of heart you snatch. I probably love the food more than I love you, but, you know, that's just the way life is sometimes.
Stinking Bishop.
Ooh.
Have you had that?
No, I haven't actually.
So, okay, this thing stinks.
But I bet it tastes so good though.
Yeah, 100%.
The stinkier the cheese sometimes, the better.
So I actually brought some back from Paris for my mom.
Yeah.
Like, it stunk out the fridge.
Yeah.
Like, she ended up dashing it. But it's that bad. But it tastes so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're listening, check out Stinking Bishop. No, what did I say? Yeah, Stinking Bishop.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good cheese.
So yeah, those are kind of like that. If you brought me a good cheese board and you got the quince and you got a good balsamic vinegar. I can't stress how to tell you, like, good balsamic vinegar. You need it like nice and sticky and rich. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, listen, but you can vouch. That.
So no, 100%. Like,
yeah.
it's funny because, like, things like olive oils and balsamic vinegars and things like that, when you taste a really good one, it sets itself apart, because you can like have like ones you get from your like local supermarket, and it's not the same.
It's not the same.
When you taste a really rich one, you can taste like the olive oils in there, and the ones that you can like dip breads in it.
That's what I'm saying, like literally. And one of the other things I like as well, like good bread is like always a must on a good cheese, and good grapes as well. Like good grapes, like a good green grape. as well, just to kind of cut, I'm obviously just, I'm showing how bougie I can be. But like literally, so for me, definitely. I always love quince on my cheese board though. If you don't have quince, you're not living.
We should do an episode where we have like a cheese board.
Yes, definitely.
That'd be really cool.
Definitely have, we're going to do an episode with good freaking cheeses.
I know, look, from what you're saying, I would not bring you a cheesecake. As much as you're saying.
What would you bring me?
I'd bring you the cheese board. Because
I
couldn't give you cake knowing how... Do you know what I mean? I'd feel like you're tasting it for scrutiny versus like, are you enjoying it?
But I'm not like, and this is one thing I always stress to people, just because I bake cake, it doesn't mean like when I eat your cake, I'm just going to be like, it's not as good as mine. Every cake from every person, everybody bakes differently. Sure. Like this week I tasted a courgette cake.
What?
We're just going to leave it there. I tasted a courgette cake, but I really love my salted caramel cake with like my frosting on top with the gin and tea. That was amazing. Okay, so we're going to move on to the mains. Now, right now, can we bring that back to the courgette cake? Well, my cousin's not even going to give the courgette cake a try.
What was this courgette cake?
Okay, so, the cake was beautiful. The thing that made the cake was the cream cheese frosting. I'm not going to lie. The cream cheese frosting banged, and I wanted more of the cream cheese frosting. For me, I suppose in my head, I was about, like, it's a good example, a good kind of taste comparison is like, it's a bit like carrot cake, but carrot cake has character. Like you're actually tasting the carrot with like that cinnamon and that spice, and you're just like, cool. Then I had the courgette cakes and I thought maybe my taste buds are burnt out. Maybe there's something wrong with my taste buds. Maybe I've got a cold again and the flavor's not coming through. Then I asked somebody else, what is a courgette cake supposed to, is it supposed to taste of courgette? And the person told me, no, it's just for the moisture of the cake. So it's a very moist cake. And I was like, okay, I get it then.
So is that
I would eat it again because it's moist, but I wouldn't eat it because it's a courgette cake.
So is that like a banana pudding, like where?
No, banana cake has flavor. Like it's got character.
Okay, cool. So you got like a banana pudding, which is soft.
Yeah.
Do you know the one?
No, actually, I'm saying yeah, and I'm like no. the reality is like I know banana cake texture, but not banana.
I'm gonna, cause like it's a Jamaican thing. Maybe closer to Christmas time, I'll bring some banana pudding. Okay. It's a very moist. Yeah. Okay. Cake kind of thing.
Yeah, I suppose what I wanted from the courgette cake is kind of like a character. I wanted to taste a bit more character. If I'm being honest, I would probably have put it with like not lemon, because lemon's quite overpowering. I would pair it up with like maybe a cardamom or something like that. Just a spice, just to go poof, to give it that character, that like that shoulder roll, like I'm here. And I wasn't getting that. I was just getting Nastasia eating the cake because it's moist and the cream cheese frosting is good. This frosting is banging. The frosting's done. Okay, eat the cake.
So that word, so everybody knows, was it cardamom?
Cardamom.
I only learned that today, and you're going to find out, Pats, at the end of the show why.
Yeah,
I learnt that today.
So moving swiftly on from the courgette cake. Sorry, I can't, like, maybe there's other, I'm open to trying other like courgette cakes out there, but it wasn't like a carrot cake. It was kind of just like, it's just cake that's extra moist.
So the last starter, basically there's these guys, they set up so basically there's like this.
Simba's going to talk about this story. I don't think I have any love for this story. I told you this week, like, me and starters are just like, oh, gold.
Okay, cool. So basically there's a soiree where they have a dinner in either like a park or a really like nice setting. They've done it in Somerset House. They've done that previously, and the whole idea is that like everybody like dresses in white. You come and you decorate your table, and it looks really like flamboyant, almost like a wedding. It's just a really nice event kind of thing. Very, very, very plush. Now
it's al fresco dining soiree. I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably want to go to one.
So these are really cool.
Sounds really dope. Like, Yeah.
So there's another group of guys in the States as well called Handmade Events.
Yeah.
They also do their take on this
Okay.
as well. And it does look really, really, really cool. So what happened recently, I guess that the good old London weather meant that this whole thing was washed out. So all these diners hoping to turn up to, you know, this nice soiree were met with having to move the event to where they had like tents and stuff like that, and instead of getting like, you know, all nice decorated plates with all your food and stuff, it came in like, you know, like the plastic
it came in like takeaway packaging. So the original concept for this one was to have it on like a hill on a park, and because of the bad weather, and so their food was packaged in, you know, like takeaway containers, like clear tops, and just it didn't look it. To be honest and to be fair, I would be so disgruntled if that was me as well, because it was just kind of like not even it's like the effort. It's not even telling people, oh sorry, due to the bad weather, this is, you know, trying to make up for it. It was just kind of like, okay, here's your half baked container with like your food, enjoy and sit in this marquee.
The food kind of, you know, like in school when you get on lunch, like
basically
the plastic thing. That's what it looked like.
I know.
Or, you know, like in hospital when they come out with the trays.
Yes, it looked like it basically looked like a hospital. No, or a better yet, you know, when you're on a flight. Like flight food. That's what it looked like. It looked like, it basically looks like flight food. But the newspaper reporting this was the ES magazine, so it's still.
You can still Google it. But because funny enough, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, I actually was trying to plan stuff like this myself. But the thing is, like, English weather just makes it so almost impossible. Like, I have to take my hat. So like, I've wanted to like plan like a festival and stuff like that as well, but looking at like our calendar, it's like, when does it not rain? The fact that it didn't rain for Carnival this year is amazing. It always rains.
I mean, I'm not going to complain about the English weather. I'm a baker, so the colder it is, the better it is. Like, so you guys can continue wanting for the heat.
But we need the vitamin D.
I go to Africa. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I mean, I'm always up for like in good, real English weather. Like I'm to be quite fair, I like spring and autumn. So like the summer for me here isn't it, I mean, I like summer weather here and it's great, but you know, everybody complains when it's really hot because there's no air conditioning, it's so stuffy, it's so humid and blah 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 blah. So you know what I mean, I'm one of those people who've turned not to complain about the weather. If this is what we're dealing with, if I have to go away for hot weather, I'm gonna take a flight. It's all right, B. But yeah, I felt sorry for these people anyway, because it really sucked.
Yeah, especially...
And there was the organisers did not make an effort for an alternative. Maybe they did, but it didn't come across like they made an alternative.
The thing about like okay, cool. So the thing about that particular kind of event, like I'm sure that a high percentage of people are going there for the pictures.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got dressed up, you're in your glad rags, whatever. Because you can't take pictures even of the food or the event, you're in tents, you're not outside. Like they have this thing when they all get like white hankies and wave them around, and like it's a real glamorous picture when they see everything. It kind of takes away the experience. Do you know what I mean? Like there was just zero. So it's like the organizers, apart from postpone, there's nothing they could have done. Really?
Yeah, because I mean, finding another venue to host it in, or to me, it's like one of those: do we postpone it? But if everything has been set in motion, it's like, how do we make a good deal out of what we've got? Like,
but there's absolutely nothing you can do on that day that takes up, because the weather's the weather. You know
I mean, but as well, when you read the article, the organisers seemed like they abandoned the people for a couple of hours and didn't tell them what go on. They just left them there, which then someone described as their own version of Fire Festival. And I think that's what it was. In any case like this, I think when you communicate the issues that you're having to the people, I think people then turn to be more kind of like, okay, we know that there's issues and it's going to take a while kind of thing. But when you just dump people somewhere and don't tell them of the issues that you're having, that's when the issues start to arise. And I think for me, that's what I got from it, that they weren't told of, like, obviously, yes, we know it's raining, it's not going to happen outside, so what's the alternative? You know what I mean? So it was that lack of communication. But yeah, it sucked. Like, reading it, I was just like, oh, that really sucked.
So I think it's time for the mains.
Yeah, so let's dig into the mains.
Cool. So
I feel so lackluster this way. Oh yeah, let's dig into the mains now. Well, let's get into the main subject, the main topic. I'm really actually looking forward to talking about this, because when reading it, I actually was quite on the edge. I have a double-edged sword to it. But yeah.
So I'm gonna try and summarize it. And then
Okay.
you, I guess, tell me if I've summarized it well. Or if there's anything I'm missing I need to add.
I'll put in my 2 cents here and there, B.
So there's an article.
Yeah.
And it kind of describes the situation happening in the States, but I think there's obvious overlap that applies here within the UK.
Can we give the title of the
article?
The article. So
yeah, let me bring it up.
It was written. It's not written by David Chang, is it?
To David Chang, the ethnic food aisle is racist. Others say it's convenient.
Okay, yeah. So you can find this. It's an article on the WashingtonPost.com, and listeners going to dig into it.
Cool. Okay, cool. I'm just going to summarize what the article's saying. Basically, what it's describing is that within these supermarkets or these grocers, as you know, they have a particular aisle just dedicated to ethnic food. And why they're saying that might be an example of exclusion or racism or something like that, is that they say that represents like a glass ceiling. Like, once upon a time, you might have a separate aisle for maybe Indian food or Latina food, but some of these foods are now being integrated into our other aisles, so they're seamless, so to speak. So I guess speaking about it perhaps more from a UK's perspective, you see the Indian food or the Chinese food, the soy sauces and all that kind of stuff. Some places, I can't lie, yeah, they do have that in the ethnic aisle, but they seem to also be integrated within the other aisles as well. And the thing about segregating, in quote, ethnic food, it limits the opportunities of these makers or these cooks or these people within the food space. And to quote one of the things it said is a store within a store. So it's almost like, unless you have reason to go to that department, you might not even know that this is something that you like, or it's an alternative flavor or something that you're already getting as well. And it's almost like it's a mindset that would put you to push that food to that aisle, as opposed to like opening it up for everybody else to try. And I think it would just be a great topic to although this was based in the States, we obviously see that happening here within the UK, with it being very hard to get your product on the shelf. You know, there are gatekeepers, if you like, if you have to meet said buyers in order to get your product out there. And then to know that although you may get in, your opportunities may be limited because you're, sent to the back aisle, which is, that says Caribbean or African or something. It's like, is that fair?
Yeah. So the question is, the discussion we're having today, our main meaty meal is, are the food aisles racist? No, let me start that again. Are ethnic food aisles racist? Do we see them as a racial connotation to our lives? Now, I'm a bit on. I've read the full article, and I get there's two sides. There's two sides to it, and this is where I'm a bit of a double-edged sword. I think in today's society, do we need an ethnic food aisle? Like, I go into whatever supermarket, let's say Tesco's, and they do have the ethnic food aisle. They have that one where, or they have the ethnic food section, which does happen to be slightly at the back of the store. So you'll go down your Asian aisle, your Oriental aisle, come back to Caribbean aisle. Well, and these days what I've noticed is they're fusing the Caribbean and the African food aisle. And I mean, I have no issue with it, like, but clearly, you know, there is a difference. Do I think that aisle is racist? Should it be integrated with every other kind of food source out there? I want to say it is racist, but then again, I'm just like, is it really racist though? Like, then it's like, if it was integrated, then my thoughts turn to, if it was integrated within the, you know, just the normal food aisle, would that make a difference? And here is where I kind of see that there may be some sort of racial connotation to it. When I go on holiday, or as in, like, when I go to my home country, Zimbabwe, right? It's a very, it's a very English country. Well, it was ruled by England for a very, very long time. I go into a supermarket. Now, they don't have a British food aisle. They have food aisles. Like Heinz ketchup is next to Gold Top ketchup. There's no kind of, oh, this is British version. This is like, there is no British aisle. There is just food aisles, regardless of where the food is from. Even if you have like, for like one of the popular aisles where you're getting your Millie Meal or your Maize Meal, you know, they've got like, you know, they've got Missa, they've got all of these different brands, but they don't label it via country. They don't say this is like Chinese version Millie Meal. Every Millie Meal or Maize Meal is just like literally stacked up, and you just go for the brand that you prefer. You know, so when I come back to England now, and I've been dedicated, then there's shelves just dedicated to African food. Then I'm just like, wow, this is where I fit in. This is where I fit into society. So do we still need those ethnic shelves? I don't think we do, because to be honest, like, if we look at like half of the sauces that are in the sauce on the sauce shelf, there's like the Indian style sauces, there's the British style sauces, there's the Oriental style sauces. There are kind of specialist food, and I think that's where it comes down to. Like, there is like a specialist, we can possibly have a specialist food aisle where there are certain ingredients that you wouldn't naturally find in the UK, but doesn't need to be called the ethnic food aisle, or what's the other, world foods. It's kind of just like, no, we don't need it particularly labeled as world foods and like literally us crammed into like two aisles, you know what I mean? And then divided by 4, one for Oriental, one for Indian, one for Caribbeans, and one for African people. No, we don't, because like literally our food is like, everybody wants to try food. It's just like, yes, we have restaurants dedicated to our foods, but do our shelves need to be that divided anymore? No, they don't. Do we see an issue with it? I've never actually thought of it up until I read that article. I never actually thought about it. Like, and I completely see David Chang's argument into it, because it does for him. What he describes in that article is he's like, is it second generation of immigrants? So him growing up, going to the food shop, he could, you know, they were used to having he's from South America, right? I think so. So he was used to obviously eating Mexican, South American food, and their shelves were dedicated and at the back, and like at the back of the store where nobody really ventured, and only they would, you know, the minority immigrants would venture there. And like, it was like being on just the regular food shelves, it was like a distraction, and people felt like, oh, why is Mexican food next to our food? Like, But these days we see that, you know, people want to cook like Mexican people. People want to cook like Oriental people. Everybody wants to try a bit of Indian. Everybody wants to try a bit of African. Everybody wants to try some Caribbean. Even, I mean, Jamie did his jerk rice. I mean, he wanted a bit of the action, you know what I mean? So I think basically for me, I would love to see, you know, I would love, you know, seeing, would I say eradicate those aisles? I would like to see just much more integration come in, just following through from just like social life to food life, and just being able to go into the supermarket and go to, you know, the crisp aisle and seeing plantain crisp there too. And, you know, and I think one thing that I've noticed as well, I mean, personally, like we, being black British or black African British, we have our own, we go to our shops to get our speciality food, you know what I mean? And then when you go into Tesco's, you know, I do blame the supermarkets for the hike in plantain prices, you know, in our shops, because I mean, from £5 to £1, one century, a couple of years ago, to now three for £1.20. I was like, sorry, inflation is hitting plantain. And you go into plantain, you go into Tesco's, and then you find like one plantain is like 79p, and I'm like, who told you that? I mean, and it's funny as well, because I remember being in Tesco's one time, and I was me and my sister, we were laughing at how we were laughing and being like, "Bro, Tesco's is starting to sell yam and plantain." And then we picked up the plantain and we were just like, yo, we can go to our market and buy this like 3 for £1 or 4 for £1. And I remember that a Caucasian lady, a white lady, came up to me and said, but sorry, how do you actually cook this? I thought it was just a banana. And it was kind of like, yeah, fam, like you fry it, you bake it, you do this. And we had a conversation about it, and she was like, oh, okay, I find it very, and she was like, so, you know, how do I know it's ripe? And then that's what I was just like, it's like, for me, like, even my sister said this to me, how do you know when plantain's good? And I was like, I think you're asking the wrong way. It's like, for me, I just like, I just pick in it and see while I go on in it. But I like my plantain to be quite ripe, and it has not too ripe, but just a little bit firm, you know, brown enough to know that I can still fry it and not fall apart. So seeing that, obviously they are, you know, supermarkets, I suppose they've seen the benefits, and I'm not saying they're doing this because, oh yeah, let's we want to see it more our supermarkets multicultural. Nah, they're cashing in because they now see the benefits of having, you know, more of our foods in the shop, and saying, oh, okay, let's put it in all one have an umbrella store for everyone. So I'd really like that, because like I said, when I go to South Africa, I don't know if this is like true for SA, but like I know in Zimbabwe, when I've been there, there's no ethnic food aisle, there's just food aisles, and you just choose what you want and you come away from it. There's no British food, there's no Asian food, there's no this, there's kind of just food and what interests people. Like Italian food is big, and something the article says is like, how comes like now the Italian food and Oriental food and Indian food is very well integrated onto normal shelves, but you still have like South American food, Latino food, and you have African food, and you have Caribbean food still on the ethnic or the world food aisle.
No, it's true. It's before I forget, I want to comment on two things you said. Yeah. Number one, like when you spoke about like Jamie winning like the jerk rice, I googled, because I was googling some desserts, and I came across, you know, Eton Mess. Yeah. So he's been messing about with like recipes for a while, because if you look on YouTube, if you Google it or YouTube it, Jamie been doing some really funky stuff. I want to say illegal crimes with but yo, Jamie been on one, innit? Jamie uniting people out here. So he made an Eton Mess, but with pears, right? Yeah. People were pissed. They were like, this is not strawberries, this is not like, if you read the comments, people are angry kind of thing. So yeah, Jamie's on. But why is he even do? You know, I mean, people get really passionate about food. I'm not gonna lie, I'm passionate. And then there was something else you said. It will come back to me. Yeah. But basically, going back to, I guess, the main topic, the mains. Yeah. Cool. So one point you made in speaking as well, like plantain crisps on like the crisp aisle, make I think a huge difference.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
Like, sorry to interrupt, and the reason why I use that as a good example is like plantain crisp are it's just not an African or a Caribbean, it's also a very big thing. It's a very Latino, Latino thing as well. And what I start to see is crimes against plantain that I've never seen before. Like, I'm not saying that Caucasian people can't go out there and do their own version of plantain crisp, but not acting like it's they found it like it's a holy grail. Like, we've been doing that. You know what I mean? There are so many of our brands that we've been eating, championing, and then all of a sudden people are coming out and claiming it as like their holy grail. It's like, no, we deserve to be on the crisp aisle too. Like, you know what I mean? Plantain, like our version, our original, because for you to find that one, you've already tasted the original. Do you get what I mean? I'm going to get slightly passionate about that, but and then you start seeing plantain crisp being sold for like about, £2.50, £3. It's just like, hold up, we've been buying this for like 69.59p for a very, very long time. And that's the original. So I would love to see it being integrated into those aisles.
So I want to say something, but remind me to come back to speak about the bit about deserve. I want to touch on that. You just reminded
I know you're going to say we don't really deserve. But in my head, we deserve. All
right, cool. I want to dive deep into that. Yeah. But also, you just reminded me when you spoke about the plantain. Yeah. Dude at work, well, I say at work, where I was recently, he was like, he went to his mate's house and he saw this guy cooking a banana. He was like, he was like, what's he doing? I was like, oh yeah, that's plantain. That's really nice. I was like, oh, did you try it? He's like, nah. Do you know what I mean? But he was not, because basically I brought him some banana chips. Dad came back from Jamaica. I gave him some banana chips, and he was like, do you know what I mean? He's enjoying it. He's a crisp fanatic, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, that led into the whole plantain thing. But we digress. What I wanted to say on this thing is I don't personally think it's racist. I think it's ignorance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a double-edged sword. I don't think it is like mad ignorance. Though.
Yeah, I think it's ignorance that has an unfortunate consequence. But like you said, but until I read this article, I didn't really think about it. But the more I start to think about it, I realize that there actually is like some serious ramifications from the way this is actually set up. Yeah, I think that by us not being integrated into the other aisles, there's a missed opportunity. Even if it's just being like caught on the same shelf or something, it's like, okay, what's this alternative? Yeah, it could be on price. This could be cheaper. Yeah, it could look at, this is a more premium one. Yeah, but okay, cool. So there's two things here. One, I do think it's ignorance. Two, I can't lie and sometimes I've found it convenient. I've been like, I want our food. Okay, where do I go? Okay, the ethnic art.
Yeah, I found that as well. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, sometimes, even thinking about it now, sometimes I'm like, it's convenience. I know where I know that I can go through there and I can find my plantain crisps and nobody's messed with them.
100%. The original ones.
Yeah, it's not no funky flavor.
It depends what you like, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's many flavors now, but you're just looking for your authenticity.
It's funny you say that, because whenever my dad goes to Jamaica, right, and he brings back banana chips, I always tell him, bring back the cheapest one, because that's the one's just the most plain. It's not been touched. It's not been messed with. I just want the most basic one. Yeah, but yeah, just I guess just bringing it back, I feel that I do want to touch on the whole deserve thing, right? Yeah. Basically, two things. One, yes, I don't think we deserve anything, because the market is the market, right? Until we are the ones that own these supermarkets, or we're the ones who are the I guess in the marketing positions that are able to
really ride for that food to be on mainstream shelves.
But even if there may be I guess one of us, if you like, in those positions, but unless a person at the top who's able to sign this off and approve that, because it's on somebody's head to make that call or decision to move those items, because if it doesn't sell, do you know what I mean? But they could trial it on a particular store.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say about the whole deserve thing, though, as well, like for all these like brands, stuff like that, it's never been like a better opportunity or chance to jump over these supermarkets or these grocers and not need them. Literally just sell direct to your customer. Whether it be online, food halls, not food halls, food farmers markets and stuff.
Farmers markets, yeah.
All these kinds of things, giving us opportunities, which I think we're getting better at, but I think there's still so much more.
Yeah, for sure.
To go, but I think times are changing. To be honest with this ethnic thing, I don't see them changing anytime soon.
I don't. Something interesting as well that was actually in this article is they actually said, a supermarket director said that they actually make more money when food is actually on an ethnic aisle rather than integrated, because it loses its appeal.
Oh, so you're saying it's more appealing by being in that?
So when it's in the ethnic or in the world food aisle, it's actually more appealing than it actually being integrated into mainstream food, because it actually gets lost. And what happens is people don't actually know how to... People use it wrong. And then that got me thinking, is that why Jamie Oliver did Jerk Rice? Maybe.
The thing about it being lost in the aisle, though, right, is that the only way it's going to get lost is if it's not on similar shelves, or because like certain brands will pay for I want this shelf, third shelf up. I want that. Do you know what I mean?
I think what they meant is that the fact that getting lost, as in, say if I was looking for what could I be looking for? Say if I was looking for
Chin chin.
You know what? I've tried the ones in the supermarket. I don't know. Chin chin in the supermarket. I need to find the right brand.
Okay.
Say if I was looking for, there's a certain brand of sweet chili sauce that I like. I think what's it called? Something boy.
No idea.
Okay, there's a certain brand of sweet chili sauce. I think everybody knows this.
Well,
maybe let me Google it.
Okay.
Let me find it. There's a certain brand of sweet chili sauce that bangs, and it's authentic sweet chili sauce. And if that was integrated within the other kind of the barbecues and the normal kind of thing, I could see me getting confused of why it was there. I think that's because I've just been conditioned to know that it's going to be in the Oriental aisle. You know what I mean? But if it was in that aisle, then it'd just get lost, and I'd just be like, oh, well, it's just it's like normal sweet chili. It's not special anymore because it doesn't have that impact. And whereas if it's in the Oriental aisle, it feels like an import and it feels like the authentic thing.
So if I understand you correctly, you're almost suggesting by putting it into these world food aisles, it has a positive impact in terms of it feeling either more premium or more bespoke.
Yeah, that's what the article said, not me.
How do you feel about it? Do you think does that feel like that for you, or perhaps are you not the market who would feel like that?
I think because I have a certain level of conditioning in me, and that's just me, just being me. I will always want to go to the ethnic aisle to find that particular authenticity. That's because I feel like that's what I've been conditioned to. If we took away those kind of aisles, I would know no better. That I would be happy to purchase it off there because it's in the sweet chili range and it's in the sauces range anyway. So I'm not giving you a definite answer there. I'm giving you two sides of a coin. Yeah.
So on that, I think obviously there's pros and cons, and I think that there are obviously potentially, it sounds like, some financial benefits from them putting it in these aisles.
Yeah.
However, just to, I guess, bring it back full circle, I think regardless, it's still and not intentionally.
Sorry, it's called Healthy Boy Sweet Chili.
Okay.
Healthy Boy Sweet Chili. Now that one is the shit. Healthy Boy Sweet Chili.
We have to do like a chili forfeit thing one day.
Okay.
Have you seen a ghost chili? They sell like one chip, like tortilla chip with the.
No. I'm not really mad. I'm not one of those people who's mad about chili like that.
I'm not, but to see the tears in your eyes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think you need chili to see tears in my eyes.
Because they sell like one. Literally, it's so hot. They sell just like one.
Oh wow!
And we can do like one each.
Okay.
Or we can do like a forfeit, and loser has to eat the chili.
Yeah.
No milk. Actually, no, we need milk. Because if I lose, I want some milk.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I was gonna say is that as much as I can see like some benefits, like either me either saying it's convenient or it's something similar, just knowing where to go. I still think even just bringing it back full circle, an unfortunate side effect is definitely this glass ceiling that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I definitely feel that there's a lot of people that don't know certain foods from our regions, if you like, because of Tom or maybe I shouldn't use the word Tom, but like Tom or Jane or whoever's walking down the aisle. What reason do they have to turn down that aisle? Unless,
but this is what I'm saying. This is where the example, they don't have, obviously that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's true. When Tom, Jane, Winifred is walking down that aisle, they have no reason to walk down that aisle, unless they have friends from those regions that says, like they tried this food and they wanna get the ingredients and they wanna cook that food, But one other side effect that comes into play is a lot of our food gets taken from that aisle and then gets shot to the premium aisle because of the faces behind it. Am I right?
What like?
Like, okay, I use plantain as the great example because I'll bring this discussion in because it was trending on Twitter. So basically, a young pair of boys, they won. What did they win? Like
some award. I don't know.
Some like best invention or best like best product or best new product on the shelf. They basically got plantain crisp. And that was the product that won, and they were just like, and everybody was praising it like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing discovery. And it's just like, hold up, B, we've been eating plantain for like, since when was that an amazing, do you know how many brands of plantain there are? Like, and even not just in this country, not just the imports that have come over here, but just in our own countries in itself. And basically they've taken something that is clearly being sold in our supermarkets, and clearly there are people behind them, and literally now that's moved into the crisp aisle because of the faces behind it.
Oh, their particular one is in the crisp aisle.
Well, it's going to be in the crisp aisle. What other aisle? It's not going to be in the ethnic food section, is it? Like, let's be on a real. Is it going to be on an ethnic food aisle? No, because of the way they packaged and marketed it, because they've marketed it to their sector, therefore it goes into their sector as a brand new discovery. When it's like, boy, stop playing. We've been eating plantain crisp for ages. Ain't nobody trying to buy plantain crisp for £2. But I tell you for a fact that there'll be people buying that plantain for a £2, but it's not going to be us.
Yeah, not for two.
There you go. Yeah. Am I lying, Simba?
No.
Okay, cool.
I don't even like plantain chips.
I don't know where you come from, but it's okay.
Banana. Banana is the one.
It's the same as me. I don't dig banana chips. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, no. Like, banana chips aren't my thing.
Fair enough. Each to their own.
But that's what I'm saying. In that sense, is when we look at like the effects of having ethnic food aisles and not our food, and our foods not being, and when I say our foods, it's not just African food or Caribbean food. It's Latino food. It's all of those kind of things not being integrated into mainstream shelving. Those are the kind of things that happen. And then what we're going to say, there's going to be someone that says to me, but there's room for everyone. There's room for everyone because there's different types of bread. But no, but do you see hardo bread on the main shelves?
I do actually.
Now they do. Now they do. Yes, hardo bread is being put onto the main into mainstream shelf, but before it wasn't. You had to go to your ethnic pot and look and bend down on the come down and get your hardo bread. But that's what I'm saying, that is an after effect. That is one of the after effects of not having us having main, like all of the foods on mainstream. Yes, it looks like, from, like I said in this article, they say it's much more lucrative to have ethnic food aisles because it makes it seem like the food is just that much more special. But one of the effects is just the one that I described.
So going back to that, those guys or whoever put that together, sorry, I can't remember their names.
I just saw it and I just thought it was hilarious. It's just like, ain't nobody buying £2 plantain crisp. And watch the man at the market now say plantain is like 3 for like £1.50 or £2. Like, yo, you need to tell him to calm down.
So, like, my opinion on that, like, when I hear that kind of stuff, just me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you or anybody listening should feel like this as well. I get excited, right? And the reason why I get excited, right, is because I feel like the market, okay, this is not my words, but the market is the market, right? Yeah. So if the market feel that the price is adequate, or that branding or marketing appeals to them, they'll go and buy it, right? Yeah. And I respect that anybody, no matter the background, where they're from, what they've done, that hustle to go out and do that, right?
Yeah.
I can't lie, right? I spent what was it? Probably about 2 hours yesterday, working out how I can sell samosas, right? I can't lie.
Why?
Because, like, I was looking at, okay, cool, it's Diwali now.
Why are we even... okay, go on.
So happy Diwali to well, it's a bit late. Oops.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that there's a samosa shop around the corner from me.
Yeah.
Banging samosas. Anybody that likes samosas. There's a place called Pradip. That's in Harrow. There's some amazing samosas. And I was thinking to myself, okay, cool. Like, there's all this stuff about people like selling food online and stuff like that. Like, imagine if you could go to like just a samosa shop and like sell samosas and stuff like that. And I was thinking that some people might look at me and be like, hey, I not in the position that maybe because of my background I shouldn't be selling samosas, but we have so many other nationalities selling food from other nationalities. There's an Asian guy that's just opened up a Caribbean and African restaurant in Camden.
Yeah.
Recently, I forgot the name of it. I actually want to go down. The food actually looks quite good. But what I'm saying is that I think we now have the
crossover. The
crossover and the permission.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the reason why and also, look, there's so much opportunity out there and like money to be made. Like, if you have the balls to do it, go out and try it. These guys tried a thing and it worked. You know what I mean? They're just guys.
I'm not gonna. We can't. I'm not knocking their hustle whatsoever.
They made a hustle.
That was probably, for me, that goes down as the hustle of 2019. Like, in actual fact, because when I read it, like I said, when I read it, I laughed because I thought, they took something as basic as plantain crisp, repackaged it, sold it, and they literally won new product of the year. And this is something that we've been. So my
thing, which,
is like one of the greatest hustles that I could never imagine.
So what I might say now, which some people might not like, is that for everybody else that's crying, up your hustle.
I mean,
it's just business.
A bit like it's a dog eat dog world out there, and that's what it comes down to. Sometimes, like, and what you're saying is, I completely agree with it in a sense that it's business. And when business does business doesn't care for creed, color, or anything. Business is just doing business. And I think what else is great that comes out of this conversation is the opportunities that people shouldn't just hear that, I'm just like, we're saying, like these guys just went and took plantain. People should hear, so there's many business opportunities 100%. To come out of this. So there is that thing that we can take our products and get it into the mainstream shelves. But at the same time, I'm going to say, why does it have to be that? Why do we have to do that much work? But then it comes back. I will come back again and say, this is business and this is how business works.
Yeah, 100%. Look, if you
it's an like business can be very ugly, and this is the ugly side of business as well. That, you know, I would love to see full integration into and into you know, the ethnic shelves. Like I would like to see that there just be a supermarket and you can go in there and explore the different kinds of foods. Like another good thing another good example that I want to bring up, like I actually really like Asian ice cream, but I would never have tried it if I didn't do like a shift in an Asian restaurant.
Where would you have?
I try, is it coffee ice cream?
Okay.
You know, and I would never have tried it if I didn't work part-time and at one stage of my life in a Indian street food restaurant, and it was really, really nice. And you know, when I go to the ice cream aisles, like I'm checking for it, but I have to go to the Indian freezer to go see if it's there. You know what
There's
I mean?
an Indian freezer.
This is what I'm saying. Like, if you don't search in supermarkets, yeah, there's not just an ethnic aisle. There's actually there's a freezer dedicated to world foods as well. So in Morrison's, yeah, like I know this exists in Morrison's and in Asda. Yeah, I like. My auntie introduced me into the Asian version of, what is it called? They are kind of like, Asian people listening to this will know. They are kind of like Asian tortillas. Like that, I really hate. No, it's not roti.
Chapati.
It's like chapati, but they like different. Like you can get garlic ones and
naan.
It's not naan bread. Like it's not naan. But basically, if you go to the Asian freezer, you know what I'm talking about. Some of them begins with P.
Oh, the frozen ones.
Yeah, the frozen ones, and you just
paratha.
put. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, like look at hear my excitement. Oh my
These
gosh,
things
I'm choking.
are nice.
Oh my gosh, I'm choking on my own saliva. But
you know, I eat those like by itself.
Yeah.
Like,
So that's what I'm saying. I actually stopped myself from buying those too much, because let me tell you, I could do the whole packet in
100%.
a whole packet in a day. Like them things are bang. But understand, I wouldn't know about them if I didn't like going to authentic Indian restaurants and like ordering it, and then literally the guy going to the guy, I want to take one home, and he's telling me, no, you can actually buy them in supermarket or go to an Asian supermarket, but they sell them in normal, like if you go to Asda in the freezer, and I'm like, in the freezer and Asda, like yo, and when I go around in Asda, look for the freezer, there is a world content, it's called World Continental Foods, if I'm correct, or they may have dropped the continental. And in that freezer you can find frozen patties, you can find Jamaican patties, you can find a lot of like frozen Asian food, like frozen garlic, spinach and stuff, and there's what they called
paratha, I think it's
paratha. So you can find those in there, and you can find the Asian ice cream in there. Now, like Asian ice cream is really, really, really delicious, but I wouldn't like. I have to search for that. Now, if that was integrated into the mainstream freezers, people would explore all of these different foods, and people wouldn't be ignorant to be as ignorant towards food of being like, what is that you're eating? Like there are all of these things like just naturally integrate. But this is what I'm saying. When I go back home to my home country, there's no English ice cream. It's ice cream.
You said it there.
So that's what I'm saying. But like I said, I'm a double-edged sword towards this. Do I want to see ethnic aisles eradicated? A part of me, like I would say like 80% of me does. The other 20% is kind of just like, I've been living with it, I've been conditioned. But I would like to see the eradication of that, because I think it would definitely open us up to more food, more exploration, more kind of like understanding of other people's food as well, and we wouldn't get this jerk rice situation as often. But you know what, the jerk rice situation is just like it's just another discussion. I found it very hilarious, like as mad, but yeah.
That's a whole main topic.
Yeah, that's a whole main topic for another day. But I definitely feel like there's huge opportunities in us actually getting our foods wherever you're from, whether you're Latino, whether you're African, whether you're from Madagascar, whether you're from Australia. But it's funny, but how comes like Australian food is integrated in, you know, but not really.
Name one Australian
no,
food.
actually, like Tim Tams. Is it called Tim Tams? like Lamingtons and stuff. I only know
What is
like
that?
Tim Tams are like really nice. Like,
What is
but
it?
you can't. It's like a biscuit.
Okay.
If I'm correct, if I'm correct, or is it a sweet? I think it's like what I'm talking about is the biscuit. Like if anybody can correct me, who's Australian, who knows what I'm like, if it's Tim Tams that I'm talking about, but it's like a bourbon biscuit, but better than bourbon biscuit. But if that's the correct name for what I'm talking about, and Lamingtons are really nice. When Lamingtons are done properly, they're nice. Like I've tasted Lamingtons here.
The only Australian product that I think I know, I don't even know if it exists. It might exist now. I don't remember. You know, remember Castle XXX?
Is that a beer?
Yeah, beer or lager. And
I thought that was South African.
Isn't it?
No, it's they have it in South Africa. So
okay.
Like it. In my head, it was like I didn't know it.
Okay,
like,
and the only reason I remember it is from like, you know, back in the day when I forgot which one's on BBC and which one Channel 4. You know, Neighbours, Home and Away.
Yeah.
And then the adverts used to come on,
Yeah.
and then but apart from that, I don't know any Australian.
So, you know, like all of those foods, yes, there is an Oriental aisle as well. Like there's an Oriental section on the shelf. I mean, there's yet to be like an African food one. It's all in the ethnic aisle kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't think that the demand is there for there to be like a huge aisle just for us. You might tell me I'm wrong, but I don't necessarily think there is. That's why I think integrating it in, you know, with the other foods and stuff is just going to make a big difference. And if anything, both.
I think it works in both. I think there are supermarkets who've probably trialed it and put like, you know, like some African sauces in like the mainstream shelf.
The thing is, though, what are they trying? Are they trying?
I said there may have been, so I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Granted, it may be possible.
What they're trialing, whether like just the general person will go up, not like anybody who hasn't tried the food. Let me rephrase that. Somebody who hasn't tried that sauce or that kind of that cooking sauce will actually pick it up and buy it.
The thing is, though, about their trials are based on the business objectives, which is like money, right?
Yeah.
The thing, their trials aren't based on public perception of food from, you know, an ethnicity. They're not in that passionate game to help us as a people. They're not about that.
No, it's just for obviously, like this is just, that's why I said, like in the article it said they make more money when they have ethnic or world food aisles, like period. That's what it said. It works better when they have those aisles. When it's integrated, they actually lose money.
Well, you know,
that's what the article says anyway, and that was our 2 cents on it anyway.
Yeah, it's all about branding, marketing, placement. Like the way these shops place food around supermarket is very, very calculated.
Yeah,
there's a reason why you have produce at the front of the store.
Yeah.
There's a reason why that like the milk and the breads, you have to walk through certain particular aisles to get to them.
Yeah.
There was a reason why the bakeries tends to be like at the back of the store.
Yeah.
This is for years of like trial and error and the way they map it. Like everything's there for a reason. So, you know, they know what they're doing. They're not stupid. That's for sure. It's
add-ons, isn't it? Like if you go through this aisle, you're going to add, you're going to buy like how many times? Okay, just like for me, for example, I'll tell you, I go into a supermarket just to pick up a bottle of, just like, I don't know, just probably laundry stuff. And I'll tell you, I come out with like 3 bags of shopping. I didn't need any of that shit. But because I navigated my way. There's certain things that caught my eye and I was just like, oh, maybe I need that. Do I need that? Oh, maybe I do.
You know, I might say something which is a bit sexist.
What?
But I think there's,
do that.
Yeah. I think there's a difference between how a woman and a dude shops. Like, so I think that, because I've seen my mum, she'll go to like a supermarket and walks down every aisle.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. Like, maybe, yes, there's a difference between the way a man and a female shop, because sometimes I won't say we've got instinct on us, like maybe we need that, don't know. But you know, like one of my pet hates is sending a guy to a supermarket and then him coming back with either the opposite of the wrong brand of the product that I asked for, or completely nothing, and telling me, oh, I couldn't see it. And when I go back in there, I could see it very clearly.
Yeah, my dad likes to do that. maybe I shouldn't call him out, but yeah, like
Know
yeah.
plenty of guys that do that.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's another
Another discussion for another day. But yeah, I mean the article is really interesting, and if you're in the food industry, I would urge you to actually read it, and because personally from reading it made me kind of a lot of like things went up in like I had loads of kind of like buzz ideas, and especially something like the Simba touched on. It shows that there is a lot of opportunity for how we market our food into the mainstream economy as well. That's a food for thought as well. So there's just it's a very interesting topic because I'd never thought of it like that. I just always thought, I know when I go into a shop, I'm going to go into that aisle because I need X, Y, and Z. But when we think about it on that, and especially the way David Chang narrates it and takes it back to why it's racist, is it is a big food for thought. But like Lisimba said, is it going to change anytime soon?
So one thing that just buzzes through my head when you're saying that, like along my journeys and like doing like other interviews and speaking to people, I won't go narrow and be specific, but I have come across or met people that would prefer, as a black person, not to be the face of their products, or not to even show themselves. Even if it has like a African or a Caribbean twist. And that article just kind of suggests to me there's actually not just brand value, there's money to be made in distinguishing yourself as different, as being authentic, ethnic, because of it almost sounds like there's a premium. Yeah. You know, so there's money to be made about being proud of where your background is. So like jump on it. Because if you don't,
I think it's a very we are working in very I was going to say cotton wool times, but it's not cotton wool time. We're working in an era where being your authentic self is what is going to push your brand or your product to the forefront. And if it means that, you know, just being black and just being you, that's one of your USPs, because we are, like, black people we are commanding our space now. We are entering a time where, like, we're not even entering, we are in a time that we command our space, and we command to be seen and valued and be heard in spaces that before we would never be heard or seen, or want to be heard or seen. We'd be really pushed at the back. But now I'm like all for it. Push your food to the forefront, whatever you're doing, and command the space and time, and let people see the magic that we have, and use that magic to your advantage, and take the space and take it up with your chest.
100%. You said it there. I think that's a little clip there for Instagram or something.
Take it up with your chest. No, take up the space with your chest, like, and bring your stuff to the forefront, and don't be fearful of, like somebody said to me, Natasha, do you know how many bread companies there are? It depends on, people just like your bread. They like their bread baked in a particular way, and there's room for everyone. So push yourself to the forefront and be unapologetic whilst you're at it.
No, 100%. So we got more mains.
What was the other mains? The Deliveroo thing.
So look, I'm not even going to front. I don't remember the full context of the article, but I know the headline. I can give something brief.
I read a bit of the article, actually. That's really bad. It sounds like, what am I giving you, a half-hearted? I could tell, like, I read part that. I didn't read it in full. I think I'd like a couple, like one last paragraph, but the whole gist of it, like, and you can read this. This is on Forbes.com, and it's about Deliveroo riders ripped off. Are they being ripped off by not having a tip? And it's talking about the whole generation of the Deliveroos, the Uber Eats, the Just Eats, the what's the other one? There's one that he said that I didn't even know. Eat24.
Okay.
So basically, he's the guy who's written the article is talking about basically how where he grew up. I think he's from America. So a lot of like when you're a delivery driver and when you're a waitress, you rely heavily on tips.
Mm-hmm.
In this country, I think it depends on the restaurant you work on, work at. But there's usually a flat rate for waitresses and delivery drivers. And one of the things he remembers himself when he was a delivery driver to really make up that, because he just got minimum wage, but to really make his check bounce, it was all about the tips. So it's about giving great customer service and just really just on every drop. He said he probably made more in tips than he did actually on the, like in a day working, he could get like hundreds of pounds in tips over his actual salary. And one thing he found here that he said one experience was like he works in London, so he lives out like way outside of London. So his job offered him whether he wanted to stay in a hotel or an apartment during the week while he was working. So with the likes of having the Deliveroos and Deliveries, Uber Eats, he was like, oh, I'm gonna have an apartment. So got the apartment, and then he ordered pizza or something. He ordered something off of Deliveroo. The driver came, and he forgot spare change in his pocket to give the driver. So he says to the driver, "Oh, thanks. Like, how do I tip you?" And the driver was like, "Well, you have to do that on the app, like when you order." And it was like, "Oh, I feel really bad. Let me run upstairs and get." And the guy was like, "Fam, you're holding me up from my next job." Then the guy, he was just like, no, wait. The guy ran upstairs, like came back down. The guy was gone. He ain't trying to wait for your tips, yeah, because he's got mileage to clock on his thing, innit? Because I suppose they keep track of your delivery rates. So he was just like, the way that the tips happen here is like, you tip someone before they get here, but it doesn't go directly to the driver. It just it goes into the Deliveroo system. Does that get distributed to the driver? I don't think it does. I don't know, but in my opinion, it possibly doesn't. And it's and he was like, "How can I tip someone when they haven't even given me the service?" So, and that's a huge part of their earnings, and how much he feels like these delivery companies are actually ripping off the drivers in not getting their tips of what they're worth, because some of them actually do give real good customer service. I've received real good customer service from drivers as well. I've had drivers who've called me and said, "Sorry, I can't find your house." They've not driven off with my food. There was actually one driver who gave my food to somebody else, which I was pissed about. That happened once. But other than that, they do take initiative, and they do. All the drivers I've had, if I've ordered something, have actually called me if they can't find me and given me that service. Have I tipped them? I haven't. I'm gonna be honest. I've tipped in restaurants, but I haven't tipped drivers. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say I don't want to make excuses, but I feel like because our culture here isn't really of top, like I don't tip, like I've never really, only in restaurants, like, but drivers tipping drivers. No, I mean, even on Uber now, you can tip your driver a bit, like, extra if you want to. But I've never tipped. I've never tripped. I'm not going to lie. I've never tipped my delivery driver. And then when I read this article, it did make me think. It did make me give me food for thought, and thought, no, fam, maybe I do need to start tipping my drivers.
So, like, I was making faces just to be funny. Like, yeah. I be honest, I have not been tipping Uber drivers or delivery drivers here. So like the whole, like I it was a long time ago, maybe like 10 years ago. I remember I went to Miami, right?
Yeah.
And then Made some friends out there.
Yeah.
We were all chilling by the bar, and like there was these like, I was about to say girls, there were grown women, right? And we were buying some drinks and stuff. And then I paid the money for the drinks, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, you're gonna tip?" I was like, "No, like, do you know what I mean? I'll just buy my drinks, right?" And then she explained some way of the culture over there and how they make their money. And then obviously ever since then, like, especially when I'm in foreign countries, I go out of my way to tip, right? And I think the reason why I say in foreign countries is that, like, here it's almost like established that 9 times out of 10 when you go, like, the service is already included. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never ever asked them to remove the service.
Yeah.
Even if the service has been bad, I've never said to them.
Actually, I'm not lying. There's one time the service was abysmal. It was an abomination, and I was just like, remove that service charge. You did nothing to help me. And they were like, the man looked at me, and I was just like, we're gonna have a stare out today, fam. No,
But you know what? It's very British, I think, not to complain. You don't think?
I'm different. Okay, so I don't complain, but I do. I don't believe in complaining. I believe in raising awareness.
Cool.
Because like, if you just like go, oh, I don't like this and blah blah blah, and you don't have you don't have substance to why you don't like it. You're just going to be met with animosity. But if you raise awareness and say like, yo, like for me, it's like, look, dude, like, this and this happened, and I don't think it's this. Then more, I found that way, I get what I want. Not get what I want, but in return, I do get a better, outcome.
Cool. So I
only complain when the person gets rude.
Okay, so I'm of a similar camp. Like, if something goes wrong, like yesterday, I got the wrong food.
Yeah.
I quickly jumped to my Deliveroo. It was like, hey, do you know what I mean? But like, it was even my fault in the end, because I wanted a zinger meal. I clicked on the tower, and then when my 2 hot wings didn't come, I quickly jumped into that chat.
Okay.
But I quickly jumped to the live chat, told them afterwards I made a mistake, and they let me know. But what I was going to say is that, like, would you not agree that it's like a cultural thing for us not to complain as much generally, as like, for example, like what you say from our American counterparts? Would you not say that we are not as, it's not,
I don't know, anytime I've been out and I've got an issue, I make a complaint. So people make it like, I've known that people have just raised awareness. Like, I suppose for me, it's not that, like, there's some things that are just like so minor, it's just like, oh, there's no point. But I don't know, like, when I've been to America, or whenever I travel to the States, like when I was in Canada, it's kind of that reminder I have to tip. It's like, when I get there, it's just like, I'm so used to just paying for my meal. And then like, it was even like when we were out somewhere, like my brother was like, don't forget to tip. And I was like, oh yeah, this is like the tipping nation. But I get it. But if I'm being honest, when I've been abroad, regardless whether, I don't think they even hear, like, obviously they hear my accent, but just generally whenever I've been in the States, the service has always been tip top. And that's, I think that's the difference, that the service over there, they are very like, their service is, and I don't think, like, there was the only time I think one time that I complained, and I will call it a complaint, but one time that I didn't like something, I mean, she got pissed off at me, but rightly so. I basically ordered, we were in, wasn't Hooters, there's this other wing place that we were in Florida. And I wanted to try root beer float. And it's just like one of those things, like, let me try root beer whilst I root beer float. And I got it and I didn't like it, but it was like unlimited drinks. So we paid for unlimited drinks. And then I was like, I took a sip of it and I was like, I don't like it. So I wasn't drinking it. So the waitress at our table noticed that my drink, everybody else was on second drinks and I was just there with that. She was like, oh, you don't like it? Like, why are you not drinking it? I was like, oh, I don't like it. And then she was pretty happy to go and get me something else. So I ordered something else that was extremely wild from the menu. And then I was like, well, hopefully I like this one. That drink came. I was just like, fam, I don't even like this drink. So there was 2 drinks on the side and everybody was just like, oh God, Natasha, like just order. And then I ordered something else and...
You didn't like that?
To the point where she came and she was just like, she just looked at me like, sorry if you're listening, she just had the stern look. And I was like, you know what, like, and then my friend was like, no, she's just gonna have a Coke now. Like my friend was just like, you're just gonna have a Coke now, just actually stop taking liberties. But in my head, for me, it was like the drinks were I paid for unlimited drinks, so if I don't like it, I don't like it, like, so like, but I completely get it. It was slightly a bit annoying and making all of those drinks and me not liking it. But back to the main kind of thing. Yeah, in London, we don't have a massive tipping culture because service charges included. Therefore, I think sometimes we don't even care if the service is bad or not. Or sometimes we actually know that service, like restaurant service, is actually shit as well. So like some restaurant service is actually shit. So we have the option to take it off or not, but we rarely don't even take it off. We just like pay for it and just get on with life kind of thing. Yeah. Unless the service is actually like disgusting, which then I'm just like, I ain't paying for this service.
I think, I'd agree in that, like, we hardly ever, I've not asked to take it or off or get it removed. The thing, what you're saying about like service being better abroad, like 100%. You know what I mean? Well, let me use that term loosely. But the experience that I've had in parts of the States been amazing. Even like the Ubers, like, so I remember when I caught some Ubers in Paris, right?
Yeah.
I got in, right? They had water for me. They had sweets for me. They came, they opened my door. I had luggage, they opened the boot, right? And this is not one, literally all of them did that. It was just standard, right? Yeah. You'd be lucky, do you know what I mean? If the dude opens your door, do you know what I mean? Unless I don't know if you get like the XL or something.
I'm not even gonna lie. I've had some atrocious Uber drivers where I've had like, there was one time that like, I was like, my house from East Croydon station is not far. It's like literally by car, it's like probably like 10 minutes. And the driver, I had a massive suitcase. I had 2 massive suitcases, and the driver just pulled up. And I looked at him, he looked at me, and he sat back in his chair. And I was like, wow. And I packed my luggage into his car, closed the boot, got into the car, and he was like, okay, where we going? I was just like, you're asking me where we're going, like I haven't even entered my address in the app, lazy. Like those are the thoughts going through my mind, and I was just like, okay, told him my postcode, cool. Why did this Uber driver try to take me on like a circus around Thornton Heath? And I had to say to him, hey, you better reel yourself back in there because I'm going to complain on that. Oh, sorry. I thought it was this way that we were going. No, don't say you thought it was this way. Don't. And then when we finally get to my house, this guy had the cheek of still sitting in his car. He's like, we're here now. Okay, cool. You're not going to help me take my heavy luggage out of my bag. Just like you can see, like I've got loads of luggage, and you actually think I'm going to close your boot, fam? I just got to my house and closed my door, and he had to get out and close his boot. Like, I'm not taking responsibility if it breaks or not. And that's the thing. Like, it was just kind of like, I'm not saying technically the reason why I look at it like, oh, it's a part of the customer service journey. Like, these guys are so fast that if like something drops or spills in your car, like some Uber drivers are like, oh, you got to pay extra because this, or you broke my handle. Well, I wouldn't have broken your handle if you come and open your door properly.
So just to play a bit of devil's advocate. Yeah. I
know there's 2 sides to this story, and 2 sides to this.
Sure, 2 sides. So just to play a bit of devil's advocate, had he have got out, opened the boot, picked your bags and helped you, would you have tipped him?
I would have given him 5 stars.
But no cash, no moolah. Right? So, but this is the thing. Like, I'm not necessarily saying what he did was right.
So before the tipping, let's be honest. Before Uber had the tipping, it was just ratings.
No, 100%. Yeah. Look, I'm not saying
would I have tipped him? Honestly, no, because like that culture, I don't think of it like it would never. I think society has never urged that kind of tipping culture on me.
In the UK,
Yeah, in
100%.
the UK, it's
Do you know
not
what I mean?
like a pressure to tip.
But-
I would have given him fast.
But on that, playing devil's advocate,
Yeah.
from his point of view, he might be looking at it like, why should I? I
Okay,
got you to your destination.
Okay, which is true, and I'm not going to deny that. Another part of me is just like, why should he? Like, I even said to it, why should he actually come out of his car and help me? But the same fact of like I said, there've been some Ubers that have been quick to say to me, if you spill anything, if you do this, if you do that in my car, like, I'm gonna charge you, I'm gonna report you, and blah blah blah. So for me, it's just more of a standpoint of I kind of do put myself in the driver's shoe. I would actually rather just come out and open my boot by myself, because I don't know what kind of heavy-handed person. It's just like sometimes when I see the way my friends treated the boot of my car when I was driving, I was just like, fam, like, why are you slamming the door?
Yeah.
Like, why are you slamming it? Why are you being so big, heavy-handed and slamming the door, fam? Like, are you paying for it if it comes off its hinge? No, you're not. Like, so calm down. So that's the way, from me, that's the way I kind of read it, because I know people can be mad, heavy-handed, and just like ignorant, and it's just a driver's car, it's just a taxi driver's boot, not like it. That's his life, you know. That's his bread and butter right there. You know what I mean? So I don't dispute. There's two sides of the story here. There's two sides of the coin.
No, as you were speaking, I was just remembering back to some friends when I had my car just bang, literally, and you like what the fuck? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, some people be out here slamming doors like they're about to replace them and for you and shit. So therefore, it is kind of like on a safe side. If an Uber driver does come out and, you know, handle his boot in the correct manner, it's easier for him, you know. And I've heard horror stories that Uber drivers have told me. Oh, you know, one guy was drunk and he did this, and I'll be like, okay. But it's crazy. But yeah, I think going back to the article about tipping, the way tips are actually taken on Deliveroo, the article has a huge point that, you know, with all the way that these apps work and how many hours these drivers work, and they are actually just on minimum wage. And if people do want to tip, it shouldn't just go into this pool of money that's then divided. Because I remember when I worked in one restaurant, they were just like, we take in all of the tips and then we divide it amongst the waitresses. And you're just like, I've been kind to some really uppity, really kind of fuckery kind of people tonight, and I'm dividing what the tips that they like, what? And it's kind of like having that equal playing field that everybody earns something kind of thing. But I do think like drivers should be able, individual drivers, I think a good interface for this would be every driver has their individual kind of bank, on, like, they get signed up and they get an individual bank. And when they are delivering, when you know who your delivery person is, and after they've delivered the food, you should get an instant pop-up like it does on I think Uber Eats does this. I'm not sure if Uber does this, but I'm not sure if Uber Eats does this. But what you do is you get that pop-up and say, how was your service? Rate your service with this driver. Do you want to tip them? And let the tip go into their bank and be able to download it. I don't know if from the article, Deliveroo don't do this. I don't know if Uber Eats does this. But it's a really bad to make assumptions, but because they do it on the Uber app, that you can tip that one driver and give him his rating and tip him, I suppose Uber Eats does that. If they don't, I think it should be done.
I think if I remember right, Deliveroo is definitely like you pay for the tip before,
yeah,
and then Uber Eats is after, if I remember right. Yeah, but I can only imagine, well, even though I haven't been tipping, I can only, if I did, imagine a scenario I did tip after I received the service. So yeah, that's kind of broken.
Which is normal. It's just like you don't tip a waiter before you enter the rest, like before, you know, he's waited at your table and, you know. you tip after the experience?
Well,
If you want to, yeah. Have you ever tipped a waiter before he's finished like serving you, like in a restaurant?
So like,
You have?
no, not me. I just I'm not going to put names out there. But like, I know people that tip waiters on the way in, so they know to look after them, to give them that premium service, like when they're on a date, right? So if you're going out, hey, my friend, here's a tip, look after me. Do you know what I mean? And then the service comes, and obviously you're hoping, but if you give him something nice, then surely he should look after you for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, and if he doesn't and he gives you shit service, you
then,
can only just be like, that £10, £20 went really just down the drain.
Then it's one of those things, isn't it?
I've heard of that culture, kind of like tipping the waiter and say, you know, please make it extra special because I'm doing,
You know, so one quick question on this. What do you think can be done to change tipping culture here? Because I know, especially when I'm abroad, not just the States, I know we've spoken about the States a lot, but whenever I haven't been there for a long time, but when I was in Ghana, 100% on tipping. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that if I go to any like African country, even, you know what's really funny?
Thinking about it, when I was in SA, like the service was always impeccable, and like, so tipping was natural. But you would tip, right? Yeah, because tipping, I suppose as well, because being from Zimbabwe, and like when we go out to restaurants, it's very like, even like your family members are like, put your tip money there. So it's kind of just like, oh yeah, like we're gonna tip, you know. So it's really strange is that it's really, when we speak about like being conditioned and how we're brought up a culture, it's almost like being of the culture now where we travel. If I speak to any of my peers and stuff, we all tip when we travel. Yeah, but it's just not at home. You know what it is I think it really just boils down as well to the customer service that you receive. But okay, cool though. But using that devil's advocate thing of the taxi dude, even if he had given you that super service, you wouldn't have tipped him. So like, there's a cultural thing. Yeah, maybe it is. It's not by fault. I think as well, in our respective countries, and when you look at the US, it's a culture thing. It's actually embedded within the culture. When people from the US come over here, they find it strange that we don't tip. And it's like, no, but it's not by force. The government didn't say tip, 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 tip. Whereas you even hear like, even like your favorite celebrities are like dropping mad massive tips. They're like tip, tip, tip. And they're even like, yeah, you make sure that you tip your waitress, and then, you know, but over here, there's nobody going tip, tip, tip. Everybody's just like, yo, we're just paying you the service charge, and we understand that. And we're paying you the service charge, and we know like the service may be lackluster or whatever. But I think it also comes down to the fact of the standard of customer service. Like I said, I went to one cafe place, and they just, like, for a good 15 minutes, I could have just been there, just sitting there for the next 2 hours, and nobody approached. They would approach me to say, look, you're not ordering anything, can you leave? You know what I mean? So already it's kind of like, I know I've been to restaurants in the States, from the time that I'm even waiting for a seat, they're asking me, can they get me a drink? Or would you like to sit at the bar? Or what can they, you know, there's so many little, can I get you anything? Oh, you've been waiting for a long time. Let me get you some hot chocolate because it's a bit chilly outside. And do you know what I mean? Their service has started as soon as they've made eye contact with you. In this country, you can wait in that queue for as long as you want, because I know you want to come in and you're going to just eat your food. We're going to put service charge, and you're just going to bounce, and you're going to be okay with it. Even as you were speaking, right, it made me remember that like a lot of restaurants I've been to abroad as well, like they give you water, like it's just standard water on the table, bread, fresh bread. Yeah. And it's like, I know they're here, but I have to think to remember which ones are just automatically given that to me. Okay, where did I go this week? Oh, and they gave you water and bread? They didn't give me water and bread. They gave you bread? No, I had to ask for I had to ask for water. Okay. Like, I went to a restaurant, and I literally had to go. Like, we'd been sitting in there because we were lost in conversation as usual. Yeah. I was just like, oh, can I get some? We were like, can we get water? And they were like, oh, okay. And they went and got the water. And it's like, yeah. But like you're saying, in America... And they had a service charge, right? Yeah, they had a service charge. We paid it, but I like the fact that, you know, but that's what I'm saying here, because we it's not a culture, and we understand that the customer service here is a lackluster in some, not in every places, but in some places, that we're just like our kind of thoughts towards tips is like, if we want to.
You know what I think about it as well comes down to being in the UK, that whole tagline, rip off Britain.
Yeah.
I think we always feel like we're being charged for something, always like money being taken out of us.
I'm being charged for plastic bags.
So
that sometimes I'm like, I don't even want a plastic bag, but there's no way to recuperate that 5p.
But you know what? I okay, cool. That's another topic.
Yeah, I know. I just thought I'd just slide that in there because it made sense.
Sure, we can. If you want to hear us talk about the plastic bags, please let us know. Cool. But what was I even going to say?
Look, we're charged for so many things that I didn't even know that we like. Sometimes you think, "Wow, I'm actually being charged for that."
So with the whole Rip Up Britain thing, right? Like, how many times do you go out to eat? The service is okay, right? The food is okay, right? But yet we're paying top dollar for it. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of feel that some places that, for example, if you take like, we keep comparing the States and stuff, right? That equivalent in the States potentially may have been cheaper, or the portion
would have been bigger.
Do you know, I remember...
We're a nanny state.
Do you know... So, look, so just
We're very much a nanny state, as everything wants to be controlled and portioned out for us, because it's like we can't... It's like, like, for me, sometimes it's like, because you don't know when to stop eating, we're going to tell you how much to eat. Therefore, and we're going to charge you huge money for that small portion, so you know that that's your limitation.
I personally think it's... they've learned what they can get away with.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if you look at fries from... I remember I went to Five Guys, right?
Yeah.
I think first time I ordered the large...
First time Five Guys came here, them chips were like it was a mad portion. You go into Five Guys now. I was like,
is it less?
I think it was less, but... I mean, I just think that's just where my fat girl inhibitions, not even fat girl inhibitions. Let me not say that, because it may feel my cravenness for their fries comes in. I'm like, yo, you want to dish some more? But then again, I eat like 10 fries and I'm just like, I'm actually done. Because
I tend to get their smaller one.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much. But nobody...
I'm just greedy in it. So I'm just going for them regular. I'm going for I'm not going for little fries. I'm going for regular. I just have a tendency. I'm like, go big or go home in it. What's the point?
Fair enough. You know what? Now you're talking, I feel for some Five Guys. But the thing is, like, I think some people may come along and try and copy them here. But here, like, small is small. I remember when I went to, like, the States and I saw, like, for McDonald's, like, super size me and all this, like, I had a quarter pounder with like double patties. I think they did that the other day, right?
Yeah.
I saw that years ago, but we don't have... I remember...
Because it's a nanny state. They're not trying to...
But I think it's what they can get away with. Because I remember I went to, you know, like, once upon a time, right? I was eating Nando's, like, almost every other day.
Yeah.
I could clap half chicken. If I was feeling hungry, I could tackle maybe a whole, if I'm hungry, right? Now, I remember we went to Miami, right? And we went to some Mexican restaurant. And then on the menu, they had like quarter chicken, half chicken, da. So we were thinking, half chicken, we clap that easy, right? Yeah. This half chicken none of us, I thought it was probably about 5-6 man, none of us barely finished a quarter. It was that big.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel like in the UK, when it comes to portion sizes, we are very nannied in terms of, like, will give everybody, and then they start blaming Europe. They're like, this is European guidelines. It's just like, fuck European guidelines. I was out in France and Portugal. They ain't got these guidelines out there. Did you see the portions that they're giving? I remember going to Portugal and ordering like an omelette, like just a cheese omelette. I was just like, who's finishing this, fam? Like, this is not what I was expecting, you know. And then it's basically what you said. They know what they can get away with here. Therefore, they know nobody's going to complain.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, they know that there's nobody. We're not going to complain because we want there is a demand for it. So therefore, we're going to pay for it. But when we go abroad and like you see those portions, like for real, like I'm not even trying to, like some of the portions over there, I'm just like, yo, we're going to tackle a small.
You know, as you're speaking, you know what gets me mad, right?
Pardon me. Sorry.
You know what gets me mad, right? It's that when you go to like these gourmet burger places, not necessarily calling out gourmet kitchen, but all these gourmet burgers like £15, right?
Go home and do it yourself, innit?
Well, I'm not the best at cooking beef, but
yeah,
the chips are like garnish. Do you know what I mean? Like sprinkled, like almost like it's like a watercress or something.
You know what pisses me off, right? When I see 5 chips on the plate.
Literally.
Like 5 chips and then, 5 chips on the plate and it's just like, hold on, sorry, I've paid like nearly £18
Do you know
for
what I mean?
a burger with 5 chips on the plate. Do you want to give me the rest? And this is where I actually complain because this is one thing that I'm not actually afraid of doing. Like my friends really hate it, and my friends hate it. My sister hates it. But, for me, it's like if I'm paying top dollar for something, I expect it to come full. Not a quarter, not a quarter pint. And when I see 5 chips, and I remember, okay, so this one incident that I went to Nando's, right? And this is when Nando's started cutting their chips portion. Everybody knows that Nando's have just done us dirty with cutting their chips portions. I don't know why, but like, I think they literally tried to like, they've cut down their chip. Because I remember back in the day, they used to put those fries on the plate, innit? But I think these days there's a reduction thing. They probably have like a little chips box and they just put the chips in the box.
It's funny you say that because like I always used to get like a half chicken with 2 chips, but I remember feeling fuller back then from those chips. So it must mean less chips.
Yeah. So me and my girls have gone to Nando's, and I've done a quarter chicken and chips, and I usually order, like, people find this strange, but macho peas. I know, like, when we went Nando's the other day, and I was like, macho peas, you're like, what's that? They're just like minty peas, like they're actually really good, like whatever. When my food arrived, why was there like 10 chips on the plate? I was like, not today, Nando's, like literally. And my friends were just like, oh, Natasha, you're going to be full. You've got peas on the side. I was like, fuck you guys, like telling me I'm going to be full. I don't even care if I leave like half the chips on the plate. I need to get what I paid for. I called over that waitress and I said, do you mind going putting the chips back on my plate? Like those chips that you sifted when you were putting it on my plate. Yeah. Can you go and put them back on my plate? And she was just like, oh, this is the regular portion. In comparison to the plates I'm seeing, does this look like a regular portion to me? Don't play with me, please. And I asked her to go and put the chips back on my plate, and she went back. She told her manager came over, and I said, fam, it's not going to ride with me today. Can you, like, in terms of the portion that everybody else has got, I've got 10. I could count the chips on my plate, and this was no word of a lie. My friends were busting up. They thought like, Nastasha's not going to get this portion. Nastasha's like literally just the manager took away the plate. No, actually he didn't. He was like, oh, let me take your plate and go. No, I said to him, go and bring me a round bowl of plate so I can see what you've done to it and blah, blah, blah. And then after he went back and went and got me a whole portion, he brought back a whole plate of chips, which these girls also dug in and ate. And I was like, see, don't be done dirty just because a restaurant is like, oh, these are our guide. They ain't got no guidelines, fam. They're just trying to, you know what it is sometimes. And I think I've heard that restaurants also, that there is a budget. So if they finish the chips too quickly, they have to order in more chips, and then it goes down to how much is the store spending on fries and stuff like that, and it comes down to it's mad budget costs, but mad budget and cost cuts in the behind the scenes. But I was like, fam, it's just not gonna fly with me. Don't do me. Do your delivery people dirty like that, but not in the restaurant, not in me, not for me. And I got my chips in it, and I was cool.
So two things I just want to add to that. Yeah, is one, credit where credit's due to Nando's. Obviously, they rectified the situation.
Yeah, they rectified the situation. They didn't make a big pull out. This was years ago though, but like they'd never do that again. But I am that type of person. I just remembered another story.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just laughing by myself. Okay, I did the same thing to McDonald's one time.
Okay.
Right. I was in McDonald's. Okay, we'd just finished raving. This was a little while ago. We'd just finished raving and we were on the McDonald's. We were in the McDonald's on Charing Cross Road, by Charing Cross Station, right?
Okay.
So I was just like, I just want large fries so I can just get home. I didn't want no burger or anything because it was just like early hours in the morning. I can't really do meat like that. So I ordered these fries, right? Mm-hmm. And the woman tried to give me a half packet of fries. I ordered large fries, yeah. They were like medium. So basically, they were a medium portion in a large fries like box, yeah. I looked to the fries. I opened them, like I walked away halfway because my thing is before I walk away from the counter, I always check the fries packet whenever I'm in McDonald's. It's just now, it's just a habit. Actually, my mum does this. My mum started doing this, and I saw my mum do this, and so she's worn off of me. Like, sorry, mum, but I opened the packet and I had large fries, right? And it was like half the packet. It was like medium fries, and I looked to the fries and I looked to the woman, and I was just like, sorry. I went to, sorry. These fries, yeah, these are not large fries. And she was like, no. And because it's like 3:00 in the morning, there's loads of people. She was like, no, they are large fries. And I was like, no, they're not large fries. They're medium fries packaged in large fries. I need you. And then she was like, no, well, that's what we've given you. And I was like, no, fam, you see what you're advertising up there in the large packet, all arranged like that? You need to serve me fries like that. Now, the guys who were next to me started laughing real hard. And they were like, no way is this girl asking them to package fries like that. And I was like, and then she was like, oh, we can't do that. And I was like, so it's false advertising now. So you're advertising that, but you're giving me a half per packet. Like, are you sure? Where's your manager? So I literally said and then the manager was like behind and he could hear, and he was just like, oh, okay, what's the problem? I was like, I took out the packet and I was like, are these large fries? Like, really? And he was like, oh, okay, I'm really sorry. Okay, we'll do it properly. And he went back and he got me a whole packet. Like, but it was the fact that this woman was fighting for the fries, and it's like, fam, you don't own the fries. Just call your manager and rectify the situation. Like, literally, don't fight me for it. I'm the customer, right? And I could imagine, I can understand if the fries fell out of the packet and were in the bag, but they weren't. It was literally, there was hardly any fries in there. And then the manager, I mean, I technically didn't want it to look like the picture. Let me say that. I just wanted a full box of fries.
What you paid for.
Yeah. And so the guy gave me the full box of fries and I was on my way. And then the guys were laughing so hard that they were like, no, make sure my fries are full, innit? Boss man, make sure my fries are full. And I was laughing. I was just like, guys, I obviously don't rinse that. Like, literally, I was actually doing it because my fries were not full. Sure. And they were like, no, but boss man, I'm watching you, innit? It got to look like the picture. And I was just like, yo, like, why do I have to tell you? Is it false advertising? Yo, stop protecting McDonald's fries. McDonald's has a lot of money to give fries away, you know?
You know, on that, what that reminds me, because I've been there before, right? Where, like, maybe I shouldn't say it, but you get to a point where you shut off at work and be like, I'm not paid to think. So you won't go the extra mile. Like, she probably knew better, and the one before probably knew better. But it's like, I don't care enough to go the extra mile. I completely get it, but I just want to, like, when we're saying the rip-off kind of Britain thing, I think we're so used to just getting what we get, being given a quality or given a substandard, that we're just like, okay, cool. And it's funny because when people come over from the States, they're just like, man, your food is so bland. Like, you get like half the portions. How do you, like, there's not even enough on the plate? And it's just like, yo, like, when you've lived with this for so long, you don't think that there's you don't think there's better other, you know there is better, but you know that this is like what you're getting, so therefore it's what you're paying for. And we become okay to, but we don't even, we just pay that. We don't have a choice, really. Yeah, unless we're going to import McDonald's. Like, what are we going to do?
You know, and that's just how it is, kind of, you know, with our food. Like, and if you want really, really, really good food, you're gonna part with like loads of a good portion of your money to get that really, really good food.
So while we're talking about really, really good food, I think this is a nice time to segue to the dessert on the menu today, which is the flavour from the continent.
Yeah.
Flavour of the continent? Flavour of the continent.
Flavour from the continent. I don't even know.
Okay.
But it's flavour from the continent. So the two flavours, so yeah, that was a nice end to like our main meal. But the flavours of our continent, oh my God. Flavours from the continent this week comes from two places. So this week I went out with a friend, like one of my besties. You guys will know him as like Papa Patisserie or Mr. Sweezy on IG. He was featured on Extreme Cake Makers with me, helping me with all of my cakes. So he took me to a really, really cool Korean restaurant in Vauxhall. Absolutely. This was like, I forgot the name of it. I'm going to ask him for the name of the restaurant. We just said like, it was just like, let's go here. It's really, really good. This is, I mean, I love Korean fried chicken, like KFC, like not KFC as Kentucky, but Korean fried chicken.
I've heard about it, never tried it, but I've heard good things.
Okay, I'm going to take you to this place. Like, honestly, amazing. One of my favorite places to get Korean fried chicken, one of them is in the first place is in Old Street. Well, this is like my only place, actually. It's in Old Street. It's called On the Bap. And they do really lovely, is it called, like, what's those steamed buns with filling?
Steamed buns.
Not the steamed buns, but they have, like, their own buns, like, filled buns. They're, like, kind of like burger buns, like, just, it's like steamed bun. Well, anyway, when you go on the Bap, yeah, I think they're called actually On the Bap. Or On the Bap, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, they do their filled buns, and they are amazing. And their fried chicken is amazing. So that was, like, my go-to place for like Korean fried chicken. Then he took me to this place in Vauxhall. Let me tell you, I have not had honey butter chicken like this. Like honey butter chicken, like bangs. And then he also then introduced me to another drink. Like recently I've been talking about G&T. Like I've just, I'm this year's old and I've just gotten into G&T. I think it's like a mature drink. But he introduced me to Soju. And Soju is like, I would say it's better than cider. Cider kind of makes me feel bloated, but soju is just like it's smooth, sweet. It's an alcohol drink, so this is not suitable for kids. This is like, don't be drinking this. Like if you're under the age of 18, don't be trying this. Don't want to have no kind of responsibility. So it's an alcoholic drink. It's usually about 13% and similar to wine. So yeah, it's kind of like, they say it's kind of like a vodka kind, but it's not even like vodka because I don't really like vodka.
You don't like vodka?
It's not like vodka in cocktails, but not vodka like.
Straight.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not like vodka and coke. I'm more of a whiskey girl, so I like my whiskeys and my bourbons and stuff. Dark coloured drinks, innit? Rums, bourbons, whiskies. I went to a whiskey club once. Okay. Oh, no, I need to take you there. But anyway, don't you like whiskey? No. Rubbish. Right. But anyway, Soju is one of, it's our flavour from the continent. Should I grab let me grab the bottle.
Yeah, sure.
So this one is, we had a peach one. This one is a blueberry one. They were sold out of the blueberry one, but you can find it in any kind of, I don't know if you can find it in any kind of Oriental hypermarket, but I went to the Korean one just on Charing Cross Road. And this is, Lissamber's never tried it. My first time trying it was like out with my friend and he was like, let's get some soju. We actually went through 3 bottles of soju that night. I was just like, yo, I'm turned.
Okay.
I was liquored by the end of the night, but it's like such an easy drink to drink. I would definitely recommend it other than cider. If you feel like cider bloats you and you feel like a bit like, I recommend soju.
Cool. I'm excited the way you're. So for people watching, I'm just going to show them the bottle up close.
Yeah, it's really nice. It comes in so many different flavors. On that night that I went out, I tried the peach flavor, which bangs, which is always sold out apparently. And I tried the grape one. My preference is the peach one. The grape one is nice, but I think because I'd had like 2 bottles of peach one by that time, I was literally on a peach wave. But yeah, it's really, really nice. Really.
Hey. Cheers.
Oh, sorry. It's just, long day and no joke.
You're actually about to sip without cheersing. What are we toasting to?
3rd episode. So
episode 3.
Episode
and so
3.
many more.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this one actually bangs as well. I have to thank Arnold for introducing me to Soju. Do you like it? See, this is why it's not going home with you, because there's always the reason why you didn't take a nut. Let me tell you people why you didn't take a nutter. Right.
Oh, please,
there
please
was 4 nutters, right? There was 4, right? Mm-hmm. I said to Lisimba, I asked him which one he wanted, like straight up, he could take one, innit? He could take one. That was going to be his. Then I said, Lisimba, which other one do you want? Then Lisimba was like, how you gonna go? I was like, that means you don't want one. So I took it. He did it. He said, he actually took moments to think, just say, yo, Natasha, yes. There's some things that you don't need to go about, like yes or no. Innit?
So I know you have more love for the nuts than me. So that's why I wasn't too it's all good. Like, enjoy your nutters. Don't worry, when there's something that I really enjoy.
I know you're not going to share. It's fine.
I'll let you smell it.
Wrong! At least I know from now I'm getting a whiff. Man is giving me a whiff and then he'll be like, whiff. Yeah. I have to savor that whiff. I have to remember that.
This, though, is me, one man's point of view, right? It's nice.
It's a female drink, isn't it?
It's not like, yeah, I think you're right. It's not, you know what I think, just for me.
For me, this is just like a good comparison is it's like a sparkling. It's not sparkling. What's it sparkling? No, it's like like a flavored wine, but it's just more potent. But personally, it's like sake. Do you like sake?
Sake?
Yeah. Is it sake?
I've not tried it.
I like sake warm is like one of my other friends introduced me to. He took me to a sushi tasting with a guy called Chris. Awesome sushi artist. Like, food was absolutely tops. Let me tell you, this sake changed my life. Like, literally. We need to go. Me and Peter need to go on another round of sushi and sake because, honestly, and it was warm, which was yummy.
Okay, cool. Now I've had a few more sips.
I prefer it from cider.
Cool. So I won't say this is not my go-to drink. Yeah. I'll be honest. I do think though that it does have a very light, refreshing taste to it. Almost like what you're describing, like a light wine.
Yeah,
it has that feel to it. I think this. I don't know what food to pair this with, but I think it with the right meal, this could go down really well because it's not too heavy.
So definitely, I mean, we're in a Korean restaurant, so their food paired with this goes amazing because the food in itself, if you're eating a lot of rice, if you're eating obviously it's a lot of rice noodles, you don't want a heavy drink. For me, fizzy drinks with all of that fried food sometimes is just a fizz in my, but eating really kind of heavy rice, noodles and fried chicken with this for me is absolutely perfect. The pairing, when I had it, the pairing was absolute. And plus you don't drink it in glass wines, you drink it in shot glasses. Well, they're little small glasses because it's one of those drinks where it's not supposed to, you're not supposed to fill your cup and sip. It's one of those little shot glass, you sip, eat, really just kind of for me, one bottle of this, I mean, I was greedy that night. It's only because I had I was on a free work week, so I could literally I I could enjoy myself. I was enjoying myself. So definitely like one bottle of this. I mean, it's 13.5. I mean, I'm looking. Not straight away, like I'm not looking from that, but you know what I mean? Like after a bottle or two, I'm pretty much good.
So I think like for me to like sum up, I guess, my thoughts, I think, would I buy or not buy it again? Well, to buy it, I think with the right meal, I'd need someone to pair it for me. But with the right meal, I think I'd be happy to try that again with the right meal.
Yeah. Okay.
So next, what do we have?
You know, guys, I love my pastries, and I'm one of those people, whenever I go to a European, not just European country, like any country, I love to try their pastries. Earlier this year, I was in Copenhagen, and there's actually another bakery that it's actually over here now as well. It's Ollie and Steen, sorry.
Pardon me.
And they do, I know this is not Ollie and Steen right now, but I'm just saying like over there. But one of my favorite things is I love cinnamon rolls. Like cinnamon rolls are like my thing, like love pastries. I don't make pastries because it's one of those things that I love. And if I start making them, then there's no hope for my waistline. Which is not a bad thing, but then again, I still want to fit into my clothes. Like, yo. Okay, so one of my favorite bakeries over here is Fabrique Bakery. And they do an amazing, they do really, really good, amazing cinnamon and cardamom roll. This is Lissimba's first time trying a cardamom roll. And it's got kind of, like cardamom is like, it's a spice, but it's much more fragrant. I would say it's aromatic, if that's the right word for me, but he's gonna try the cardamom one. Cinnamon roll, like if you ever pass by Fabrique Bakery, please try both of them. They are both really, really good.
Which one's that one?
That one you can kind of smack. This one's the cinnamon one, and that one, that's the cardamom one.
The nose of a baker.
Like, I could tell by that one's much more sticky, but try that one. Cardamom, like, to be honest, I was never sure about like cardamom in cakes, and then when I tried it in a pastry, I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's from Fabrique Bakery, one of my favorite bakeries for pastries, alongside Ollie and Steen, which is also here, an import from Copenhagen. So yeah, when I was in Copenhagen, I was stopped from eating a lot of pastries because I'm one of those people, I can buy cake and I'm like wild about like pastries and really cakes and desserts and stuff. But yeah, it's like one of my favorites. So yeah. What do you think? He likes it. I think like listen, but actually gives real honest like food critiques. I'm just like, I like it. I like everything. But there are things that I don't like, if I don't like something, I rarely talk about it. Can I try a piece?
Yeah, please do.
This is the only thing he won't let me just sniff and smell. He'll actually let me have a piece.
So I like it,
but you're not in love with that.
Yeah. However, no. Okay, cool. I like it, but I feel like so I can taste that. Is it cardamom thing?
Cardamom. It's very aromatic.
I can taste the kind of spice in there. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't hit my palate the best. It's still nice. I feel like had that been the cinnamon or what, do they do other flavors as well?
Yeah, you can try the cinnamon one.
I can try the cinnamon.
Yeah, you can try this one. I can share.
Okay, cool. Let's try this.
You know, like there's some things that I can share, but there's other things that I'm not just like willing to share. Like the nutters, I'm not really willing to share. But you know, that's just life, isn't it?
I'm just gonna tear a piece, yeah.
Yeah, go for it. I think next week, next week on our next episode, I'll definitely get the Ollie and Steen. So you like that one, innit? Yeah,
That's the one.
See
That cinnamon one. That is the one. I kind of knew because when I tasted this,
Okay, you can take that one home, and I'll take the cardamom one home.
you don't have to.
No, I want the cardamom one.
But you know, I've eaten more of that.
I don't care. So you can actually have that one.
I'm about to eat this now. Like, you
Yeah,
sure?
yeah. Of course you can.
Okay, cool.
You know when you see this thing that you do of literally saying, "Oh, are you sure? Are you sure?" This is the thing that will make me grab the packet, and then don't be that. Just when I say you can.
I'm so glad this is recorded, so I can reference this back. Because the next time I don't ask, it's like, "Hey, you're not being a gentleman." I'll be like, "Hey, episode 3, do you remember?" You know, I actually will clip it and just save it on my phone just to.
Yeah, you can have the cinnamon one. I actually wanted a cardamom one today.
Okay, well, thank you, Nastasha. Yeah, this one's sick. Like this, yeah. So people go down. What Fabrique? Go down to Fabrique and get one of these. 100%.
Honestly, and once again, like, I mean, if you're one of those people who like to savor good flavors till you get home, I am one of those people. Like, if you ever see. Sorry, I'm eating and all you can hear probably is I'm like smacking my gum. I have to say, like, I once dated this guy who hated the way I eat, so I'm so self-conscious about like when I go out and eat with people now, because he said, "Oh, I always smack my gums," but he was an absolute prick anyway. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But it's actually really good. When I smack my gums, it's something that's really, really good. I consider that when someone's like eating. It can sound. I know it sounds annoying.
No, it's all good. Like,
but I always take that as a good sign. Like when someone's smacking their gums, I'm like, "Shit, what's she eating? I need something. I need some of that."
Like when you're eating ramen, you're meant to like slurp the end of it just to show you enjoyed it.
So definitely like Fabrique. If you're like me, I like to savor. Like I was saying, sorry, I like to savor my the things that I really, really love till I get home, and I'm in that moment when I'm snuggled in bed, whether I've got like a glass of wine or a coffee. Like sometimes I like a coffee or something hot before I go to bed. Literally, a good way to have any kind of pastry, really. Take it home, put it in the oven for about 5 minutes. I would say on a gas mark 50, so not too hot, not too hot, not too cold. Warm it up for about 5 minutes. Let me tell you, with this for coffee in the morning or like in the evening or just midday treat, Lord, Jesus is Lord.
You know,
So that's what I would recommend.
I have to shout out my friend Kaz because she showed me like a couple of years ago about putting baked goods in the oven. I didn't even know this was a thing. When you take it, you buy it, and you put it in the oven. Just
let me tell you, like it's a game freaking changer.
100%.
Like even like that's why I say to people, if you want to know if I like something, I will wrap it up and put it in my bag and I'll save it for later. If I eat something on the spot, it's not that I don't have any care for it at that moment. It just means that, you know, me and that time, we're not having that exclusive moment. I'm not taking you. You're not an exclusive product. You're just, I can eat on the spot here. Not going to make a difference. We can buy you again. It's cool. But when I wrap something up home and like wrap something up and take it home to have that exclusive moment, don't bother me, please. Don't chat to me for a little while.
I can't lie, as much as I know it will taste better. This cinnamon thing's not making it home. Like,
yeah, I know. For you, it's not getting home because it's that like. But I'm different in it because I like to savor the flavor. So I'm that kind of person that me and you need to go and have a little bit of a pillow talk or something. So I know that when I'm describing this feeling, but that's just how I am, innit? Like I like to savor my flavor. I've had a bite and I know how good you are. Let me take my time. Take time.
The phone on D&D as well.
Do not disturb.
Yeah.
Always, always it's let me take time. Let me take you apart and take time. Okay. That's how I am with like dessert. But the reason why I'm like this, like if you see the way my mum acts with a good dessert, there was one Christmas I made New York cheesecake, or was it an apple and cinnamon one? It was apple and cinnamon. I made apple and cinnamon cheesecake. This woman, my mum, like, you think I can talk? My mum is like, once you get her into a good conversation, like, fam, she's on one, she's lit in it. Let me tell you, this woman was quiet in the corner. Like I'd cut everybody a slice of their cheesecake. But then my woman went silent, you know, and everybody, we were like, oh, I really, really love this one. When it came back, my nan was like, yo, let me get another slice of cheesecake before I go to bed. My mum lifted up her head and said, what cheesecake? You looked over to the corner. She said, what cheesecake? She had the whole half of the cheesecake and she had demolished all of it. She had there was half a cheesecake left. My mum had done half of the half that was left, including her slice. And she was on one. And my nan was so pissed at her. My nan was so angry. She was like, Julia, how could you be eating? Like, what about us? And she was like, what about who? You guys were in conversation. This cheesecake ain't about conversation. This is do not disturb. This is take time. Like my mum's like that with dessert. So really, like, when I think about dessert, I'm like my mum. Like, I'm like Julia still. Like, take time. Don't talk to no one. Enjoy. Because this feeling, you ain't going to get it again anytime soon. It's one of those reserved for later kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that's a good time to end this one on take time.
No, 100%. So, I want to thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Juice and the Sauce podcast. Before we disappear though, question of the day: do you tip? Do you tip your Deliveroo or Uber Eats driver? Yeah, let us know in the comments.
But do you tip in general? I want to know if you tip in general. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So when you like leave a comment, let us know what part of the world you are.
Yeah, and how much, like, you know, how you tip, like, yeah. Yeah, I suppose, yeah, the question is, do you tip? Mm-hmm. But especially, like, Deliveroo drivers, whether it's Deliveroo or Uber Eats, any of these kind of delivery services, do you tip?
And you can find us on all the social platforms. They will be ready by the time this goes air.
They are ready. Like, we you know, we're going to have a Twitter, which Listenber's going to solely handle. Sorry. So our socials, our IG, juice_and_the sauce. And our email is juice.thesauce@gmail.com. And Twitter, not yet find us there, but
it will be there.
It will be the same kind of handle thing. And yeah, so that's another episode from us. I have a busy week ahead. I can't even begin to talk. Yeah.
Me is okay, cool. So I left work last week. The last few days have been me planning out like what kind of content I want to be making. And tomorrow is really when I'm diving into this ice cream thing, like really getting like deep in it.
Deep.
100%.
So yeah, I hope you enjoyed another episode of Juice and the Sauce. I'm gonna smack my gums to cardamom bun. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode.
See you next time, guys.
Bye.